I want to tell you something. I'm from Mason Hall in Tobago. Mason Hall.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. The most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
life.
Just come on this way.
Not even thinking that we would realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from before. Please send us another Moses again.
Oh, we just can't go this way. Please deliver us today.
Come around with more than 1 or 2 votes. We need the kind of change that's affordable to the rich man or the man that too broke. T&T, we need a new hope.
If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call T&T, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and pan. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change might just mean a new car, could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change, things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we could say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within we school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's murders, killings galore, so much gunmen fighting needless war. I can't tell you stay, can't tell you go, cause this still the land we used to know. Homeless, every corner you meet, and they complimented by our dirty streets. Then we wonder why in our sister isle, why they don't like Trinis to come and spend time. Well, you see, it's much more than paving a whole road, and it's greater than fixing a lamp pole. Changes about the whole nation and how we are portrayed when the party done. Who set these standards in my T&T? Really wish somebody here could tell me. It's just the same thing again and again, like we leaders don't use the brain. So change the change within our country. Change the change so the whole world could see. Change the change for a better future, so we don't have to depend on our next mayor. I say change the change within we society, otherwise we have a bandit factory. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and me. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and me. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and me. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? Lord Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Stop you, yes, when God bless a man. Satan may attack you, yes, when God bless a man. He's gonna back you, yes, when God bless a man. That man must stand, he must stand AI. Who God bless, none can curse. His divine favor man can reverse. Can reverse. Even if they do their worst. Their worst, hey. When God bless a man, nothing must stop you, yes. When God bless a man, Satan may attack you, yes. When God bless a man, he's gonna back you, yes. When God bless a man, that man must stand. He must stand, I say. If you answer his call, he will lift you up. If you fall, hey, hey, hey. If you fall, just give him your all. Your all, hey. When God bless a man, should be nobody. Nothing must stop you, my friend. When God bless a man, Satan may attack you, yes. When God bless a man, he's gonna back you, yes. When God bless a man, that man must stand. He must stand, I say, yes.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. you are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's no other than In the Village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. And of course, let me say a special hello to the one and only Thomas E., the Commissioner of Newark, Marshall Nisbet boy. Tommy, welcome. Tommy, you ready or what?
Anslop, did you call? Did you
Ready,
call me? Sorry, I stepped away for a minute. Sorry about that.
No
Apologize.
problem. So let me say a special welcome to Tommy E., the Commissioner in Newark, Marshall Nisbet boy. Tommy, welcome.
Yes, good evening to everyone, especially to you. I see you're ready like me. You're red.
Oh God. Yeah, I come prepared. I come prepared. I ready like Freddy. I prepared. Hey, look. Tommy, you're red and ready, boy.
I know how to catch you with that one there.
Let me see. Let me add the next third of the DAT Triplets. No other than Diana, Waveney, Stormy, the Storm, Ben Skin.
Red and ready, Ben Skin.
Featuring Beige Gonian, Bajan, Ben Skin McDonald, boy.
I read.
Red and ready.
I read and always ready.
You red and ready too?
Yeah, look, you see, there's red or there's purple.
That look like pink to me, right?
I read and I read according to Bajan. I read and are you ready?
All right.
Are you ready?
You ready? You ready? You ready? All right.
read and I ready for change.
Okay, all right. So you ready and ready, boy. So you ready and ready. You ready and ready?
I read and ready for change.
All right. Hannah, all I wouldn't believe this, eh? I wanna let me do this real quick. We have never done this before in the village, eh?
Boo!
This is something new, eh? And I want to let me do this first. Let me play this quickly first. Let me play that's a verse in this song. And this is gonna be dedicated to these individuals, right? Let me play this one here. Hold on, let me get it right there. Right. So this is the one here.
Nothing must stop you. Yes, and God bless a
All right. So there's a specific reason why we play that, right? So let me do this other thing here real quick. This is the first time since we started this program over a year ago that this has happened. This has never happened before. I mean, so here it is, right? I want to show you guys something here. Here we go. So for the first time ever in the history of this program, we had 3 males was first, second, and third. It has never happened before. First time. First time. So a screenshot what they posted when they posted it. So the darling ladies don't get upset with us. For the first time when God bless a man, nothing can stop us.
Boo!
Joy
Boo!
Smith.
Anselm fix that. Anselm fix that. All the PNM people fix that. That way coming so.
Troy Smith.
Good evening, Troy.
Albert. I play that specially for you guys because this is the first time, first, second, and third in the village. You guys finally, after almost a year. So I had to tell you guys, and let me also do this for you guys as well, because I've done it so for everyone else. Let me do this for all you too as well. I just can't do this for the other people. Let me do this for all you. Here we go. Let me do this for you. So yes, of course. So Troy Smith, Hailey, and Albert Montano. You all have to be consistent now. You can't just make it a one-time thing, you know what I mean? all you have to keep it up. So folks, let me say a special congratulations to Troy Smith, Hailey, and Albert Montano for finally coming into the village, right? And promptly being the first 3 males in the village. So we had to give them a round of applause, and when God bless our man. Yeah, man, full 100. No, we want that. Yeah, full 100. So Takesha and Nadia and the rest, you know, man, I was so proud when I see it, eh? You know, I was proud I see it. Well, I was very proud. Albert start early. Albert said it would be good to have Karen Nunez Tesheira again. Yeah, we looking forward to that.
But look how long it take for a man to come first.
Listen, the sweethearts remain the sweethearts, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, still the sweethearts, but I mean, them fellas and them decide that, you know what? Nah, boy, we had to stop something. When God bless our man, nothing can stop us.
They stand up.
Yeah. Takesha said, big up them men in the village today, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah. We had to big them up. You know what I mean? Nothing like that when you have 3 males there, right? Troy Smith, Hailey, and Albert Montano, the historian in the village. You understand?
So, yeah.
I know Albert.
Anselm finagle them thing. You know them being them like to mess with stuff. Yeah, you finagle that for them to come in first, second, and third.
Them fellas and
them yeah. They erased the Keisha name.
They must call each other.
They erased the Keisha name from in the middle. Yeah, all you do that.
Takesha says, Anselm, good night. Diana, good night. Tommy, good night.
Night, Keish.
She also sent, say, Albert, Vonnie, Ellis, Rajvi, Ulrich, Hailey, Troy, Chris, Tropics, Daryl, the whole 9 yards. She had to say to the ladies too, Nadia, Lana, Rose, Carice, Mauricia, Miss Cuva, Joan, Capiza, everybody. Now, of course, Takesha must say this, only love in the village, no room for hate or negativity, full 100.
Yeah, look, Paul Francis in the village early tonight, boy.
Yeah, I see Paul Francis there too early, boy. I see Victor
He said, wham now.
Yeah. I see Troy big up first in the village. Yeah, Takesha, boy. First time, eh? Troy wife gave me phone early tonight, boy.
We have a Coleridge Taylor. I don't know if they've ever been here. Looking forward to hear Mr. Shearer. Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Takesha says, I thought yesterday there would have been a big turnout, but we like it so. Yeah,
No, I think the weather too, the rain and stuff. I don't know,
You
yeah.
feel so?
Yeah, I feel so. I don't know.
Good evening to you, Nadia. Good night to you. Good night to you as well, Nadia. Oh God, he says she log in long time. Yeah, let me see. Let me go down here. Yeah, Nadia said we marching for the budget. It's too much now. We need more people to come out. Tikisha said, Nadia, I was there yesterday. Thought the streets would be a flood with people. Yeah. Boy, I know what to tell all you, know. I could give all of these solution, but them people in Trinidad, we could give all of these solution, but they ain't gonna listen. They ain't gonna listen because they continue to get it wrong. They continue to get it wrong. But what I will tell you. Nadia says, June, good night. Rose, Lana, Capiza, Miss Cuva. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, look, Rennie, mom. Every time Rennie come in, it's good evening, girls. Love in the house. Is that a good evening, chicks? Or good evening, girls? Love in the house. I know, boy. I get no meals in here, boy. Rennie says, good evening to the WZYE family. One love. Full 100, Rennie. You must put that up first next time, eh? Here you go again. Nadia, good evening to you, chick. Sure you are lovely as usual. Calling Nadia. Rennie say, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. Yeah, full 100.
Good evening, Claudia.
Yes, Victor Phillips, welcome. Victor says, Karen Nunez Tesheira, with you 100%. The PNM was removed. Dr. Rowley, he has run the country to the ground. Anti-workers, anti-scrap iron dealers, anti-OWT, Chatham and the poor. God, it's everything, yes, everything. Hey, look, we resident entrepreneur in early tonight, you resident entrepreneur, no other than Ulrich Murray, boy. Ulrich, where you been, boy? I know it is going on. All right, Ulrich. Paul Francis, pleasant good evening to you as well, Paul. Welcome. The inside, what tax?
Claudia Morales.
Yeah. Hey, but Claudia's a normal thing in the village here, but I know Claudia to be busy these past few months. Claudia was original, one of the original,
Yeah, Andrea. Although we happy for the men, why are they always Johnny come late? Yeah. They take them a long time to come first. Yeah, Andrea.
You see how that Bajan is a black analyst. You see how she separate them words there? I ain't saying nothing, nah. Not me, nah. Yeah, Tekisha, cover me, Jesus. Yeah, we cover in here. Another gathering of good people, WYZ, the place to be where every creed and race find an equal place. Rennie, that's full 100, eh? All you know that, eh? All you know that. We have to have a night where we have people wear their party t-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every creed, race, and nationality. The Bajan in the house.
Yeah. We go do it differently.
Yeah, let everybody call in.
Yeah, we could support. We could try to kind of shift it to the other side too, you know what I mean? Hey, Diana, look your good friend Eugene Julian. You know, he tonight too, like his wife gave this one too. I know.
That must be a clone. Be careful. Hey, say somebody clone him. So I don't know.
Oh, they cloned Eugene Julian. You know
they
that
clone your account. Yeah.
Clone what account?
Nah. Is he or something? I don't know.
Nah. Claudia says she had 2 weeks free now. Why is she inside? Yeah. Claudia is one of the original, boy.
Wait, Andrea is new to the village. Hey, look, Troy Smith.
No, Troy Smith been here, man. Troy Smith, it was early today, boy. Troy Smith very early today. Go look at them emojis from Tekisha, boy. Look like fire thing, boy. Some kind of fire thing. Hey, what? Highly say what? The budget a change of writers. Rowley time to write out. Oh God. Troy Smith. Yeah, Tekisha, boy. Cover me while we fix it. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We guess already sitting down inside waiting. Let me run through here quick. So Claudia says, so you're telling people you can't protest peaceful or not in this country? Oh, God, I gotta tell you.
Diana, Nadia wants to know about Stormy.
Yeah, he's home and he get a cut ass today. Good.
Oh, God. Hope this government know they don't like ugly. Hope this government know God don't like ugly. Oh, God, look.
Andrea Brooks.
So God bless Diana and someone told me with a job well done. Yeah. You fixing it.
Thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
Andrea Brooks, I want to shout out the consistent women who keep in the village going.
Who said that?
Andrea
And
Brooks. Shout out to you too, Angela.
Yeah.
Angela.
Angela Brooks or Andrea Brooks?
Andrea.
All you know,
Andrea.
I wonder if I should expose Andrea Brooks, boy.
No.
No? Okay. Oh, no. I gotta tell her who Andrea Brooks is.
Victor Philip, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Andrea. Oh, God. And all you say hello to Andrea Brooks for me, please.
Hello, Andrea Brooks. I already acknowledge her.
And let me say this, that is Dr. Andrea Brooks. That is my sister in law, all you.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, Dr. Andrea
Yeah,
Brooks.
and that is a young lady from Mentoali Lavantilla. Before I get to the guest, from Mentoali Lavantilla. I from Snake Valley. She from Mentoali Lavantilla.
Well, they had a real zoo up there. Monkey, snake, you know. God.
Yeah, but listen, and it's Dr. Andrea Brooks, Diara.
Dr. Brooks.
And listener, she's a herbalist too. I had to bring her in the village too. She's a herbalist. Herb, real good old. She's the best.
She grew up good marijuana pot out of pass by she then.
No. We ain't dealing with the marijuana thing. What kind of
marijuana? Ansem, is she in New Jersey?
Eh?
Is she in New Jersey?
Yeah. She right here. She local. Yes, Dr. Brooks.
I'll have to recognize her next.
Yeah.
Next
We
year.
ain't talking about no. You see, Diana.
Yeah.
Please be politically correct. It's not weed. It's CBD.
I said.
All right.
Get with the program.
Yeah, get with the program, man. Move into the 21st century now, man.
Sensei.
Sensimania.
Don't pass the dutchie on the left hand.
All right.
All that going through.
All that going through. So, folks, let's say a special welcome back to our guests. In order than Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira. Of course, Karen, you know we have Tommy on the other side, and we have the bacchanalist lady from Barbados.
No. And Mr. Tesheira, I have accolades behind my name that Ansem haven't told you about. Okay, I'm a global ambassador and an award-winning poet and author and motivational speaker. I like Bacchanal too, because I'm born in Trinidad, but it's a Bajan.
Yeah, So you have a cup of what? Your parents are Bajan?
Yeah.
But I lived in Barbados for a number of years, and some of the people that were kindest to me were the rank and file of the Barbadian people.
The Barbados Constitution recognizes me as a citizen of Barbados. I went to school there till I was 8. And then I came to Trinidad. I went back there. I went to school to advanced level. I worked in Barbados. I'm a Bajan by descent. I can't get away from that.
The accent giving you away. So don't worry.
No, I was raised there. I was born in Trinidad. My mother and father is two Bajan. So I can't get away from Barbados' constitution, So it is what it is.
Be proud and be proud.
During the crowd as a Trin Beige Gonian. Good.
You have not only Mia Motley, but your former prime minister. I know that they had their little tug of war, but he's also so highly errol.
Owen Arthur.
Owen Arthur. I mean, everyone had the highest regard for him.
Yeah,
he was a leader in the CARICOM region. So
he was very astute also, since very astute. Yeah. Anyway, y'all go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, Karen, now that the budget, we have heard from the finance minister, we have heard from the opposition leader, right? And it just seemed to be, business as usual. And I have said previously when you were here last time that this budget was, really taking the icing off the cake, where previously the prime minister indicated that he do have a problem making the rich richer so they could help the poor. At some point in time, we had Reaganomics in this country, and they're talking about the trickle-down theory that, if you make certain people wealthier, somehow some of the crumbs go fall off the table. Well, not the crumbs, the scrums go fall
It
off
never
the table.
worked. It never worked.
Yeah,
What
It
it
never.
did, what it did, initially, because I did go and look it up, to try to be as objective as I can on the two competing theories, the Keynesian theory, and on the other hand, you had the other theory, which is from the Chicago boys, and both Thatcher and Reagan adopted it. And initially, it did seem to work until Thatcher was faced with an unemployment level of 23% and a very high unemployment level and inflation rate of 23%. And that is not supposed to happen. I'm sorry. So the unemployment level was low. Sorry, the unemployment level was low, but the unemployment level was low, or the unemployment level had risen, and the inflation rate had also risen at the same time. Because what the theory is, if everybody's employed, you'll have too many people chasing too few goods, which will cause the producer to increase the price, and then it starts that whole merry-go-round where you push inflation further and further and up. But what happened was the unemployment level, although it fell, the inflation the inflation rate was about 23% when she left office. The same thing happened to Reagan with Reagan, when they thought that if your unemployment level is low, then your inflation level will be high. But if your unemployment level is high, you will have low inflation because there's little demand. But in fact, when the two theories were put together, they seem not to have worked. And in fact, what they showed was the persons who benefited from the trickle-down theory was only about the first 20% of the economy. Only 20% of the people benefited from the trickle-down approach, and the most of the persons got no benefit whatsoever from this theory that if you make them richer, then they will employ more people, and if they employ more people, they give them good salaries, and then they will open up more businesses, and so it goes. And it just never happened. So I don't think that managing an economy at any time is a one-off deal. I think it's always contextual. I think you're always trying to bring equilibrium, and I think you have to sometimes mix both. Maybe it has to be a mix of Keynes' approach of government intervention, be more than it would be in some instances, and in other instances more private sector. But we know what happened in 2008 to the economy of the world's economy, when there was deregulation, and the Friedman's University of Chicago approach to economics was allowed to run free, and we saw what happened with the collapse of the global financial sector.
So, Karen, a lot of people have seen you now in the public space. You are very now prominent, in the public space. And some people may ask the question, well, who is Karen Nunez Tesheira? Some people want to know, because you're in the public space now. You have been in the public space, you're on Power 102. This is your second time here in 3 days, so they may want to ask the question for those who may not know, who is Karen Nunez Tesheira?
That's a very broad question. So if you want to narrate a little bit,
tell us a little bit about the Karen that you want people to know, the Karen Nunez Tesheira that you want people to know, who may not know. Who may want to brand you in a certain way, but you want them to know this is the Karen Nunez Tesheira that you should know.
I think that people, because I've heard it said to me a few times, that, oh my goodness, when I met you, you're so approachable, and so approachable is the one thing I hear a lot of. Because I think when I am in Parliament and doing my parliamentary duties, I take that very seriously, so that maybe the tone that I adopt, and also my voice itself, and having spent most of my life as a teacher in any event, I think I come across in a very, I don't know, very kind of business-like approach, which could give an impression that, oh, she is not approachable. But that is far, far, far from the truth. Anybody who knows me, I have taken after my father. And in that regard, I think no one is better than I am. I think that I have taught my children, brought up, if you're asking me to show the person I am. And my husband came from Nelson Street. I certainly would not have even considered, and he lived there at the time, but it was the person he was that meant the most to me. And I brought up my children always have respect for everyone, because my father lived with the word, but for the grace of God go I. And I truly believe that. I believe that no one has a right to look down at anyone, to feel they're better than anyone, because the car that they drove out of the hospital in went in one direction, and in another car it went in another direction. That is something over which that child had no control. So for you to rob a person of the dignity of their humanity is one of the greatest sins. I think I am extremely loyal, and I'm prepared to pay the price of that loyalty, as I clearly have. I'm a loyal person. I care very much. For persons who I feel are being taken advantage of, who are being cheated of, who are being treated lesser than. I feel very, very passionately about it. And it's something that I cannot let go. If you speak to anybody who even knows me just a little bit, they would probably tell you, that is who she is. She cannot let it go. She cannot see injustice. She cannot see unfairness. And she will speak out. I will speak out. I think that if I had to say, I think I'm very hardworking. I very caring to I love my children. I love my children. I love my grandchildren very much. I think family is very important, but I love my country. I think I can't help it. I love my country. And one of the things that I have always, since I know myself, anyone who knows me would say is that since I'm young, the worst thing you could ever do was to say anything about my country. I had a sister-in-law who was not from here, a foreigner, let's put it that way. She made a mistake to say something about Trinidad and Tobago. Well, she would never make that mistake again. I said, you don't compare the little Trinidad and Tobago with 1 point something million people, right? With United States of America, where you have the kind of, so I don't mean no offense to anybody from America, but my God, you have them living in those tents in Hollywood. You have the people feed the children. What is America? A place with every opportunity that they have, that you have people living in the way that they have their own people living, and much less for people of color. What is their excuse for that? So don't come and preach to me about my standards in my country when you have much to answer for in yours. Now, I admire America for its freedom of expression and all of that, but I take great exception to the unfair criticism of my country. So I think I'm very nationalistic, loyal, caring, don't like to see unfairness or ill treatment or persons treated without dignity. And I think, and if I had my husband, I would say I was a very caring and devoted wife.
No, Karen, here is the big question, right? The $1 million question, the elephant in the room, right? With all these good things that you have done and you have accomplished, right? Inquiring minds want to know, right? Are you going to put yourself forward to be the political leader of the People's National Movement?
Last time, we had a little conversation about that, and I had tossed it around, and I finally made the decision. Yes, I would. I would do it because I see that it's really whether I see that there's no other for me choice for me but to do that. I've had the experience of being in government. I know many of the players, and because of the position I had as a Minister of Finance, not because people think finance is so important because of the title, but it gives you that macro view of the economy that you would not have if you were in another ministry. And the way that I see this country going with the crime level, way that I see this country going with regard to how they treat people at the lower end who cannot come out, cannot see their way out of poverty, cannot see their way out of having a dignified living way, cannot. And it seems it becomes further and further something that they cannot achievable for them. I see that as a failing of the government, and therefore I made the decision that I believe that I have a responsibility um, whilst I am here on this earth and part of this country and love of my country and the experience I have had, and the education and all that goes with it, to offer myself in service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
So let me just make it clear, right, that you have decided to put yourself forward to become the political leader of the PNM in the upcoming internal election.
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean,
Can I ask her a question? Whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
just a minute. I mean, that's the little bombshell, Karen, because I mean, people have saw you and do the things, and there's many people been very supportive of you as well. So I guess that will be a bombshell in Trinidad and Tobago. And we glad, Karen, that you came here and you broke that message here on WZYE 95.9 FM. So just so you know, that's going to be all over the internet tomorrow, and you're going to start to get calls. So I'm sure you are prepared. I'm sure so.
That is the thing, that is part of the questions, of course, people would have asked me, people near and dear to me. And I've said, if you've gone through a government where the price of oil dropped from 100 and something in September, and then you were next month literally facing a global financial crisis, when Lehman Brothers had signed up to be part of our international financial center that seemed to be becoming a reality, where Bay Street collapsed literally, as I told you, over a weekend, where you saw the price of oil drop to $23, where we had to go to the back to the parliament, I think twice, to revise our budget because of the price of oil just keeping dropping as natural gas was doing. When you were dealing with a bombshell called the CL Financial and Clico, and managing it in such a way that there was not a run on the bank, there was not a run on the insurance companies, we were able to stabilize the situation and for people to have confidence that the government, together with the governor, together with CL Financial, were prepared to work and get us out of a very difficult situation without the whole thing turning into chaos. So I think I have gone through and I've had the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, the property tax, the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, the legislation was actually in Parliament when Mr. Manning called the elections. I had the property tax, which may be unpleasant to some people, but I actually had that legislation passed. The Financial Institutions Act, I had that passed. I also was able to reach very far with the IFC. I'd gone to Dubai twice, and we actually had a consultant who had worked on the Irish International Financial Center actually drafting the legislation for the International Financial Center. And we had signed an MOU with Lehman Brothers to come into the IFC so that we would not just have backroom operations, but we would have the real players in the International Financial Center. So I was dealing with all those things all at the same time, and the whatever people wanted to say, I was doing my job. So I think if I could weather that storm, and it was a storm, and come out on the other side, I think that I was well rehearsed for this moment in time.
There you go. So go ahead, Dana. You wanted to ask a question.
Mr. Shearer, yes. I hope I get my ID card back in time. But anyways, are you concerned about the whiplash from those within the party who may be blindly loyal to Dr. Rowley?
Okay, well, if I am to answer that as frankly as I can, because politics is not for the faint-hearted. And it oftentimes is, and I'm sure Anselm knows that too from his own experience, it's often not what it seems. So you have to take into account, we are human beings. Human beings are human beings. So Why I say that? There may be a small percentage who would be loyal to Dr. Rowley because actually it is a genuine loyalty they have for him. Certainly they didn't show that in Tobago, did they? Are we boy? They didn't show Are we boy that. But so you will have that. But among the many, many, particularly in my respectful opinion, the manner with which he conducts himself, which is really very aggressive, it is very hostile manner, you would want to say to yourself, I have children to see after, I have a career, I have all of that. And I can't afford to get on the wrong side of the big boy. Because at the end of the day, the leader in our democracy, in our system, our parliamentary system, is the boss. Especially if you are a senator. You fire you tomorrow and you're gone, and that's it. So there are a lot of people who may have a varying view, and that might be sitting right there in that cabinet right now as we speak, who, if they were able to speak honestly without being news going
chastised.
you might find a lot of them would say that they do not support Dr. Rowley because they probably have been on the receiving end of his anger. When you come to that's my supposition, but when it comes to the general, and I haven't done any polling, but I know polls have been done, he is not popular. And he has made himself not popular because of the way in which he has conducted himself in the public space. He has done so many things that was so unnecessary that people find it difficult, and he has done little or nothing to help the man at the lower end, little or nothing for them. But he seems to be seems to be very much at the service of those at the top, and very much. I mean, and people are seeing it. You can do that for a while, and people say, "Oh, can make excuses," and they probably still make excuses. I mean, I can't blame people. They want to keep their job. They want to keep their contract. You know, I know people who can't get a job because they fell out with him or because they don't support him. So nobody will employ them. That is just how it is. But I don't think he has, for himself, I think he's done like Amir then, because he's done a lot of things to turn people off. That first starting with the vaccine. I mean, regardless, when Mia Motley offered 20,000 of the vaccine to Trinidad when they got it from India, he said, we are not beggars. I mean, that's what we want to say. When they had the CARICOM meeting on energy, where clearly Ghana is going leaps and bounds because of their natural gas and or their oil finds and the huge size of Guyana, it's not even 1 million people. When they had organized a conference, you couldn't upvote it. You had to go up to Switzerland or wherever you went instead of attending something that concerns the CARICOM region, you know. And even when they went to Washington to deal with the issue of de-risking and the problem that the local banks are having with the international banks with their credit card, acceptance of their credit card for wire transfer and all those international transactions, which you need a SWIFT code. Who was the spokesperson? Mia Motley, who was sitting on behind our Prime Minister. When they had that meeting, everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. When they had that meeting in international meeting to which all the prime ministers were invited. When Mia Motley spoke, the room was full. You saw it on the screen. When he spoke, there was a smattering of people. So a lot of the damage, and then he makes comments which I can't even say what is something whole. I won't say the word he used, right? And when he got angry, when telling people, when women with domestic violence, his answer is you must watch who you sleep with. Then he telling you must know how to cultivate a it's like what is it? It's like a golf course. Like a golf course. You have, and then talking about when he buys underwear for his wife, something about when he buys something for his wife. Those kind of crudities, those kind of unbecoming of our prime minister, unbecoming of him. All of those are self-inflicted wounds. Self-inflicted wounds. And, I don't think people are wrong. I'm sorry, Prime Minister, but I don't think they're wrong. that you're full of self-hatred. I really think so. I really think that you believe that you have, is my view, and I think is a view shared by other people, that you do not really and truly, you feel that a black person, a person of color who has not made it, because you came from a poor home, but you didn't grow up in the 80s when drugs started to flood in this country. You didn't grow up in an urban community. You grew up with a single parent, but in Charlottesville or wherever it was in the country, and you're bright. Thank God for Jesus, right? But the attitude that you see in the display is almost you look down at. It comes down as if you have a contempt for those persons, as if, look at them, and it shows by him, his Minister of National Security, who, I mean, clueless, is putting it in a nice.
I'm my representative, Karen. I'm my representative now until Western.
You have my sympathies. I extend my condolences. No, because he came after me on a show, and when we want to break, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. It was uncalled for. I didn't know we had any animosity or anything personal. He did me this. He put his hand on his shoulders and he flicked it like this and said to me, mental anguish. I had to tell him, and I'm going to say, but I'm not going to call his name because I respect that. I said, that is supposed to mean I have sour grapes, but don't say something you don't know about, because I had someone very high in this government you are in now that asked me if I offered me to be a senator. And I told them no. Because I want no part of this government. When I told him that, he backed off. I said, well, you mustn't start that. You mustn't get personal with me and try to make this about that. I said, because you don't want me to start speaking the truth. There are people who have a conscience. There are people who see that this government is not, it is not in the interest of all the people. So I come back to the point that I truly feel that he feels that those who have not made it, who have not achieved like he did, even though he had many barriers, I suppose, but he did not live in a rural, in an urban community. He did not live in a time of where Trinidad became flooded with cocaine and drugs in the 1980s. He was a big man by then, at this in age. So he cannot compare himself. And in any event, even if he were to do that, as a head of a government, you don't go and spoil each other, because they are bad in all. Bad among rich, bad among poor, bad among middle class. They are bad everywhere. So they are not going to romanticize any poor person. That is being utopian. But you don't take that approach. What you do is pull them out of that poverty and create opportunities for them to be businessmen. You have that responsibility, and take them off of those subsidies.
You're approaching top of the hour.
We want to go for a quick break. And to Karen, this is the first time I've already seen quite a few people in the chat. So what I'll do in the back, I'll bring them in one by one and hear what they have to say, and then I'll remove them. So I'll bring them in one by one. I mean, some of the people you may know. So let's go for a quick station identification. We have with us, folks, tonight, Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, who is going to contest Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley for the political leader of the People's National Movement in the upcoming internal election. We welcome Karen, and we want Karen to be 100% successful, going up against Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. So stick and stay. We'll be right back after this, and I'm going to play a song in the middle. We'll be right back. Stick and stay. And this is what we're looking for in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Stick and stay. Don't go nowhere. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets and WZYE 95.9.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
New Jersey, broadcasting for
Come around with more than 1 or 2 votes. We need the kind of change that affordable to the rich man or the man that too broke. T&T, we need a new hope.
If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call TNT, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and pan. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change by just mean a new car could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change, things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we could say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Karen, we want to say, we want to dedicate that song to you and your upcoming campaign, because we do need change in Trinidad and Tobago. You know?
Absolutely. Can I just say very quickly, someone had asked me, well, what will you do immediately? Two things I could do immediately is lower you see the tax you pay, the duty on cars. No way that ministers should be able to get whoever it is that qualifies for as much as $1,500,000. There should be a cap on it. And I think the Prime Minister had said 350 at some point in time. He didn't follow through, but I think that would have been a good starting point. And also, I think what Farley Augustine has been saying about when you're talking about the air bridge, sea bridge, that if that subsidized price is in order to allow both countries to function as one nation. But if you are a tourist, you should pay the actual, not the subsidized price, the actual price of this ticket. And I don't think it would be unreasonable. And I think that will help with the government with its subsidization. Those are two immediate responses that can be immediately put into place, including the higher end food that I included eat. But if I want to eat it, I think I need to pay a much higher tax on it so that I could contribute to the country's revenue.
Thank you so much, Karen. So let me bring in Jason Harrell. Jason, do you want to say something to Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira? Hello, Jason.
His mic might be muted.
Your mic is mute. I can't see Jason. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to get back to Jason, all right? Let me bring in someone else. We have a few people in the background. Let me bring in Beverly Nunez.
Oh.
Beverly, welcome to the village.
Oh, there we go. You hear the name Nunez.
Yeah. Beverly, how are you doing?
Jamaican, though.
Jamaican, okay. I don't think Beverly, your mic is mute, Beverly. Let me see if I could unmute her mic. Okay, I can't unmute her mic because her mic is muted.
Yeah, she has to hit the mic button, touch the mic button, or unmute yourself.
Unmute the mic.
Or if you're using a headset.
Yeah, it's all right. So let's try someone else. Okay, let's try someone else.
It's saying someone is trying to enter, so I'm gonna leave.
No. You don't have to leave. Don't leave. Let me add. Hello.
You have Marjorie Nunez on, who is on Beverly Nunez's phone. We're together.
Oh, okay.
So we're really here to support our sister-in-law, and this is news to us, but welcome news. So we're very happy that we will be there to support her.
And where are you from? Where are you joining us from?
I live in Trinidad, but right now I'm in Mississippi with Beverly and my husband, who is Karen's brother, Roger, and her other brother, Gregory.
Oh, wow. So the whole family behind, the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Karen Nunez Tesheira.
Certainly, and we'll be there to support her.
Yeah, we had to put it out to the atmosphere. What about what about her brother, Roger? Where's Roger?
Roger is listening on his phone somewhere in the kitchen. So I
Oh,
will have to be the voice for the Nunezes who are in the house.
okay.
She's
So
also a lawyer, by the way. And
oh,
she's also an attorney at law, practicing in Trinidad. And her whole name is Marjorie Rajnorth Nunez. And we are very, very close. As you can see, I am with my sisters-in-law. I am very close to them because I think they believe in whatever I am doing.
And the two brothers are discussing, they are both physicians, so are discussing this news from Karen away from us, it seems.
yeah, but we like to be a fly on the wall and hear the discussion. You know?
I don't think my brothers are something else. You might want to hear what they have to say. And you might have to mute the mic all the time.
Yeah.
You might have to go beep, 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 beep all the time.
So we really appreciate you joining us in this momentous occasion for Karen, and I think that I am putting it out into the atmosphere that we believe that this should be a very successful campaign for Karen. Trinidad and Tobago needs a person with Karen leadership ability, tenacity, transparency, accountability. I think it's a great thing. So thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you. And I've been broadcasting the news to many people in Trinidad by WhatsApp because it's really news for us as well.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye. All right. So let's see who we have next. We have Nunez Novels.
I don't know who that is. Nunez Novels.
Who was that? Hello? That person mic is also muted. Hello? All right. We come back to that person. All right. Let's add now Christopher Hunt. Christopher, how are you doing? Where you joining us from? Christopher?
Like they don't know how to use the mic or what?
Yeah. Everybody muting their mic, but Christopher, where are you from? Christopher?
They have to unmute their mic. They don't. They're doing some incapacity there.
Yeah. It's a new kind of thing to them. Yeah, we doing it a little different in the village. All right, Christopher, we're gonna come back to you. Let's go to Antoinette. Antoinette, where are you joining us from? Antoinette? Are you hearing us, Antoinette?
This is
Unmute
Antoinette.
your mic. Here we go.
Just wanting to say congratulations to Karen. Calling from Tamarack, Florida.
Yes. Thank you.
And I wish you the best. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay,
this
Karen.
is a Jamaican family now. Or she's not family, but Jamaican connection. I am a Caribbean, as you can see, someone from the Caribbean.
Hold a minute. Victor, hold 1 minute.
Yeah. I'm a Caribbean, as you can see, someone from the Caribbean.
Okay, yeah, that was a call coming there. That's why we had it in the background. So Antoinette, what do you want to say to Karen? Go ahead. I can she muted her mic again. Unmute your mic, Antoinette.
Yeah, I wanted to say congratulations to Karen. Calling from Tamarack, Florida.
Okay.
Family friend.
Thank you so much, Antoinette. It's appreciated.
You're most welcome. Hi,
Okay,
Karen.
Hi.
All right. So, let me see who else we have, Karen. We have also Natasha. Natasha, where are you joining us from? Natasha?
Hi.
Hi.
From Trinidad.
Okay, go ahead.
Marjorie Nunez is my aunt, and she sent me the link on WhatsApp, so I immediately came on. I just want to say congratulations to Mrs. Tesheira. I think she's what the country needs right now. And I just so thankful for everything, she's done for me recently, and she's really a breath of fresh air for the country. So congrats, and you definitely have my vote.
Thank you, Natasha.
Okay, thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
All right, thank you. So let's see who we have next. We have Marlon Holder. Marlon, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from New York.
Hi,
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
All the best, and I wish you all the best. I worked with you, as you know,
You
and
too.
I'm prepared to help you whatever means I can so you can succeed.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And Marlon, if you know, was the head of UTT. And so when I was in government, you were chair or the CEO of UTT?
CEO.
The CEO of the UTT. So we
Wow,
worked together, and I really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Very much.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Marlon. Take care now. Okay. I mean, we fast and furious. We're going fast and furious. Let's go to now Jason. Jason, where you joining us from?
I'm in Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. Wow. Wow. Kind of coming from all places.
I'm telling you, and I don't know this person, but
this
sounds like a Jamaican. No, I don't know.
This is kind of global, Karen. We all over the place. Yeah. So Jason, go ahead. See what you have to say to Karen.
I am Jamaican, but I'm a good friend of her sister from New York, Long Island, and her nephew, Jason. So that's the connection there. I will certainly get all the Trinity Massive here in Virginia to fly back home to vote for you. So congratulations on your run, and I know you'll do the best thing for Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
so much. All right. Let's see who we have next. We had Natasha already. Let me try to see if I could get Christopher back. Christopher Hunt. Christopher, are you hearing us? Christopher? All right, we're not hearing Christopher.
His mic is muted, Anselm.
Yeah, right, his mic is muted. All right. Christopher? And let me go to hold on now. Let me do this. We just received a call there. Let me call back the person. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Victor, you're on WZYE 95.9 FM. Okay, I think what happens that I gotta call him back. He's on video. I gotta call him back. He's on video. Yeah, I gotta take him off of video. Let me see how I do that. Hold on, huh? No, I don't want to do that. Hold 1 minute. Okay. Because he's calling from Trinidad too as well. Yeah, I see. Karen, you have all these people from all over the place calling, all over the place.
Well, that's really very encouraging for me, and this is what gives me the impetus to feel that no matter what, I think I made the right decision. And
yes, here he is. We're trying to get him now.
Yeah, this is what gives me the impetus.
Pleasant evening.
Pleasant evening to you. You have to turn on the radio in the background. Turn on the radio in the background.
Pleasant evening, my political leader.
Yes.
You hearing me better now?
Yeah, we hearing you better now. We hearing you better.
Certainly am.
Go ahead.
You hear me better?
Yeah.
I want to say pleasant evening to my political leader to be of the People's National Movement. Karen knows she has my full support, 100%. Physical, financial, in whatever way. Because we need that change and we need it now. We had enough of Dr. Rowley bullying people, disrespecting people. He has no respect for the working class, no respect for the poor. He has damaged the country, the integrity of the country. And I, as a priest, I cannot stand by anymore. I had to get involved. And I made some good connections. The OWTU JTAM will meet with Mrs. Karen. I have fixed that. I was only waiting for her to confirm tonight that she's running. And I could call Mr. Ozzy Warwick and set up a meeting for her to meet with the oilfield workers union, or JTAM, sorry, not oilfield workers, but JTAM, to meet with JCAM, which is a conglomeration of all the unions in Trinidad and Tobago, so we can get them to support her. Because within the unions, there are many members of the PNM who are not involved in the PNM because of the behavior of Dr. Rowley. And they will get involved. No, because they are members of the PNM. They are party card holders of the PNM. They have supported the PNM for decades, and they have watched the PNM damage the unions, damage the working class, and have no regard for the poor. Crime is high. They have shut down everything, and Mrs. Nunez is a fresh air to Trinidad. Brand new and a fresh air. Our full support, and anything she wants us to do, we'll do. Because we need to get the change that we need in Trinidad and Tobago to bring this country back to its morals. They have no morals, they have no respect, they have no decency. We had enough of them. God bless.
Thank you so much. Oh, passionate, Karen. Passionate,
Yeah,
Karen.
that was very passionate, but to a large extent, perhaps I wouldn't have expressed it in the same level of passion at this point in time, but it is absolutely right. What has motivated me to take this step at this point in time, because I look at what this government, in my view, has done to the working class, and the working class and the persons at the larger group of people in this country who are treated as with a lack of dignity, with a lack of respect. And there's opportunity. There's opportunity for them to be micro entrepreneurs. There's opportunities for them to grow the economy. There's opportunity for them to make a contribution to the development of the country. And this is what is missing. If we give them a chance, they can make a contribution to our real GDP, to our growth, and to be a contributing, proud member of what we call Trinbago. This is what we should do. Not keep feeding the fatted pig. The fatted pig is fat enough. We need to put some feed now those who are at the bottom, to bring them up and make them proud and make them the entrepreneurs that they have the capacity to be.
Hello, caller, you're on WZYE 95.9 FM. Nunez Mothers, I see you. Hold a minute. I see another. Hello, caller, you're on WZYE 95.9 FM.
Hi, yes, Anselm, Peter Taylor, expressing my support to my former cabinet colleague.
So wait. This is Peter Taylor, former Minister of Legal Affairs under Patrick Manning. Is that correct?
One and the same.
Okay, Peter Taylor, welcome.
Yes, tonight is indeed an auspicious occasion. I think we are standing at the gateway of history. My paws raised when I heard Karen formally announce her intention to contest the leadership. I think it is an idea whose time has come. Persons have said that the time is not right for a woman to take the reins of the PNM, not only the PNM as a stepping stone, I think, to becoming the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And I remember some years ago, I was at a lecture. I was at a lecture somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but I remember this lady from Antigua coming up to speak. They had opened the floor. It was a convention, and she said, when we look at the world, there's so many men in leadership. But she said, you know what? She said, men rule the world, but it's the woman who save it.
Okay.
I want to say all power to Karen, and we have the support, and destiny speaks volumes, as the book of Proverbs, Jeremiah said. Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. So maybe it's prophetic that Karen stands at the gateway of history in many ways. Good luck, Karen. Godspeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
That's Peter Taylor. Nunez novels.
Let's bring in Nunez novels now. How are you doing?
See any resemblance?
I'm doing fine. I am Karen's older sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say that, people talk a talk, but it takes great courage to walk the walk. And it takes great courage to come in front of the public, knowing all that she knows. And I know she knows everything there. She knows who's for her and who's against her. And people would say this in their little private rooms or in their little back rooms. And it takes great courage to stand up and declare and to say, this is what I want to do. Karen and I have the same mother and father, obviously. She has spoken about our father, and our father was a distinguished person in Trinidad and Tobago. Absolutely. He was a man of great, great integrity. And just to give you a quick story to tell you Karen's mettle and where she comes from. There was a point in my father's life when he had 10 children, and he didn't get along with something that was against his conscience. And he quit his position. Just like that, based on his principles. And this is something that is ingrained in all of us, in all 11 of us, that our principles are more important than anything else. And Karen has that kind of integrity. In addition to which, my father always thought she was the most intelligent of us all. I'm not sure about that, but that's what he used to say. I remember she used to challenge him with vocabulary and challenge him with Scrabble. And I mean, she would be the one he would talk to at the dinner table to discuss what's going on in government. You know, my father was once Commissioner of Labor in Trinidad. And then he went on to work for Shell. And then he was a consultant with WZYE and the telephone company. Just a great, great man of great intelligence. So Karen comes from that stock. She is from that stock. And so she will not fail Trinidad. And I just want to repeat, I know I'm not looking my best, so Karen, please forgive me. I don't have on any makeup and I haven't done my hair.
In the family, huh?
I was getting ready to go to bed. So, I just want to say that I want to make this point.
Hold on, caller. Hold on. Go ahead.
I want to make this point about courage and what your last speaker said about women. This is the year of the woman. This is the time of the woman. Every developed country now is putting forth a woman, and for good reason. And we have been working very hard in the background. And here's Karen putting herself forward, something that women generally don't do. And so I'm very proud of her.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Well,
I did not pay her to say that, by the way.
No, I'm not paid.
I don't think anybody.
I don't think there's anybody myself.
Right. I don't think anybody was paid here, or we didn't even know all these people was gonna come in. To be honest
but
with
let
you,
me just tell you a little bit who she is. Medgar Evers. When Medgar Evers now opened in 1972, she was one of their first lecturers, and she is a professor, Dr. Elizabeth Nunez, distinguished professor, taught at Medgar Evers for over about 20 years. She gave of her life teaching at Medgar Evers, and she is very well to be a distinguished professor in City Universities. About 5 or 6 women of color in 100 and something. How many people they have, and she's one of the few, if the only one. So my sister is a novelist, 11 books, NYU PhD. So when I get compliments from her, I do not take it lightly.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to take my face off. How do I get my face off?
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She's got to get up. Okay, she got up.
Yeah. Hold up. Let me. There's a lot of other people. Let me quickly go to the chat here, Karen. There were a few people had some questions. Hold on. Let me see. Karen Claudia says she's a wonderful woman and the only survivor of Clico unscathed. Ron Millington, welcome. Ron Millington is tuned in. Vonnie Roberts says, Miss Nunez, why is it that your own party that you did so much for is now chastising you?
You want me to answer or just?
Yes. A question from the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, because obviously I don't agree with what they're doing. I mean, you have to understand leadership is important. You could just look across the pond and look at the Republican Party, of which we certainly are not members, but Trump has turned that party upside down. And we can look for many examples where the leadership makes the difference. And what I know is that the kind of leadership that Patrick Manning stood for, with his vision and mission and his 2020 plan, his strategic plan, which he worked tirelessly on, and which he was such an inspiration to us. You know, the PNM now is a different PNM. I don't have to go into, because I don't want to get into personalities, but people can make their own assessment of who they see at the top group and their own assessment of what their priorities are. And then they can decide if that is the kind of PNM that Eric Williams meant for us to have. And Eric Williams, who came in as the first prime minister of this country to help the lowly classes. I have a colleague of mine who, you know, he told me so much about the PNM. Every time he'd come by me, he would sit down and, you know, he'd give me a lecture on the PNM, and he would tell me, you know, Karen, if you go in the Red House, there is a plaque, and where they quote Eric Williams about his duty to raising up the lowly masses. He said, I was one of that lowly masses. He's of East Indian descent. And he said that if it were not for the PNM and people and young people like him who came from poverty, he would never have been able to achieve a tertiary education. So when you look at a PNM that seems to have lost its way, a PNM that seems to be at the beck and call of a 5 and 10%, or however percent you want to make it, for whom the rest of the country does not seem to matter. When you see a leadership that seems out of touch with the people, that teach the people with this kind of disregard that they treat them with, you know, it's not the same PNM. And I just said, as I've said before, when people say, oh, she's been disloyal to the PNM, why didn't you say that when Mr. Dr. Rowley, when Dr. Rowley attacked our prime minister? Why didn't you say that? Why did you say that? There are a lot of things people don't know, and you talk or you don't know. So there may be all kinds of reasons which I may not even know why he made his decision. But he made his decision, I can assure you, based on all of my interaction with Mr. Manning. You know, never once when I spoke to him in years when he was out of office, you know, I would be down about what was going on with him, and he would always lift your spirit. Never ever engage in, I'm telling you, he never engaged in this spiteful kind of conversation. And believe it or not, he hardly ever said anything to me about Dr. Rowley. He hardly ever said anything to me. We didn't talk that talk. We talked about what the country needed, where the country needed to go. He loved his country. And when people say to me, because I don't support the leader, because I don't think the leader really cares about you, he doesn't really care. He has a level of contempt for you. That's what I think. I feel I could say that. And I say that, why is it was okay when he told, when he was there backing his friends, who shall remain nameless, because we all know who they are, some of them, when he was backing his friends and he got mad over the UD court, when they put in a hotel. I wasn't there at that meeting. I was at World Bank, just in case, because they were saying we want to know who was in the meeting. I was not there. When he got mad about that, when he talked about the airport scandal, it has nothing on UD court. When he said we go to hell in a handbasket, when he stood up in the parliament, when we had never had an argument, because I kept out of it. I didn't, it wasn't my, you know, what is cockroach doing in foul business? So what was not my business, I did my job. And when he went on the attack with the property tax and told me when it was a reform, a part of the whole reform, because we had a 3/5 majority to do the reform that was necessary, he stood up there and he coming from the West, nearly the Martin West, talking about we're using this to make money, and it's all about money, and you're not being honest with the people. And he was so, I was taken aback, you know. I tell you the truth, you know. I was really taken aback. I said, wow. I mean, he really bowling and batting for who he for his constituents. And if people felt nothing was wrong with him having the level of disrespect that he showed to Patrick Manning, who was your prime minister and your leader, and you sitting down in the parliament as an MP, and nobody said he wasn't PNM. Why am not PNM? Why am I not PNM? You can't use two standards, you know. What you have to say is, I am not a Rowley PNM. And if you're honest with yourself, if you're truly honest with yourself, you will know that the reason that most people have come to the realization that Mr. Dr. Rowley has a certain group of people for whom, for whatever reason, it seems that he feels he needs to be there to protect them. Because if, just by way of example, his Minister of National Security, who, I mean, I'm sorry, could say on national television that he does not know of any Mr. Big. No, I know, he says on CNC3, he doesn't know any Mr. Big. Well, no wonder the country in the trouble it is in. That you could say that when you could ask anybody to put on a piece of paper and call some names, and show so many names, everybody will get. But you, as the Minister of National Security, who's supposed to be looking after our national security interests, want to say that you don't know Mr. Big. You have to understand then why people do not trust this government, do not have confidence in this government, do not feel that this government is a government of the people, that what Eric Williams started with lifting up lowly people to give us an opportunity and to give us that sense of dignity and pride and education so that we could get a living wage job, to get a dignified job, that it was not only for a few people, but it was for all of us to get that chance. When you see where the PNM has become today, and people have to be honest with themselves, if you're honest with yourself, you know I am speaking the truth. A lot of you will not, I understand, you cannot come out, I understand, because they will do you like they did to a lot of my colleagues, make sure they can't get a job, make sure poor people, some of them had to go in your government because they can't get a job. That is the wickedness, but that's not only the PNM, that's how I gather now, that's how all parties operate, which is so unfortunate, right? When I couldn't when you block people from getting a job so that they have to suffer and bring them to their knees, and you going to tell me anything about integrity? Don't tell me anything about integrity. Why must you do that? Because they don't agree with you? That's not the right thing. That is not a democracy. And that is being spiteful. I know people who have suffered. I've seen people who have suffered. And my God, if I were without, I had no money at all, if I was in a state of impoverishment, I might be one of those that they would have me at my knees, down to my knees. That's the kind of government you want? Don't make it personal. And you have yourself surrounded by, you know what you surround yourself by? Yes, men. Some of them inside of there, and they know who they are. And a lot of people know who they are too. They're there not because they can do a job well, it's because they know to turn their back, pretend they don't see, and just do what the boss wants. Because if they don't do it, sayonara. They know that. And the rest of them who sit around there, how you could have two ministers that had to recuse themselves 100 and something times each time. That couldn't, especially an attorney general. How could an attorney general, don't tell me anything about recuse. Recuse is just like a formality. The recusal comes about because you have an interest, or your family has an interest in what is before the cabinet. And if you have to recuse yourself 100 and something times, you mean 100 and something times a minute, a note comes to cabinet that you have an interest in, and you are in positions of authority, and you are in the cabinet, and you are sitting down in that cabinet, and then you want to tell us, like, if we have village idiot written on our foreheads, that, oh, he recused himself. Please, we are not stupid. It's 7 years, going to 8 years now. You haven't delivered. You haven't delivered. You notice the Minister of Finance is promising to do everything by 2023. I went back to look back at some of the budgets. And by the way, just because we are dealing with Barbados too, and it was so unfair too. He cherry-picked, okay, you might want to cherry-pick the country that you want to compare ourselves with. But when you looked at the real GDP, which is when you take out the inflation effect on the gross value of goods and services that have been produced in a fiscal year, When you take out that inflation that had raised the thing, do you know that Barbados, real GDP moved from 2021 to 2022 to I think it was 10 point something percent? Do you know Jamaica's 6.4%? Now I know that the global financial crisis, the global crisis with Ukraine and the war going on, and it seems to be, things seem to be getting more and more tense. But I want to say something too. If you ask me what I would do, let us be real. Stop talking about all the plans you have for the energy sector, with all the polypropylene and polyethylene. I know Mr. Manning spoke about it. I know that. So I know that. Stop talking about all of that when you don't have the gas. I went back to one of your speeches, and in his speech you said we on average were making 3.4 million per MMBTU per day. No, on average. Then you said you expected in the next 2080, 29, 2020 to average 3 point something. It has been a 1 million less than what you have said, and it is getting worse. And the only reason the international companies are still here because the price of oil and gas, and because of the situation with LNG, because now they prefer to get the gas from LNG. What I'm trying to say is, if I was in government, I would find there are ways. You have to be creative, but you've got to get that natural gas. Not for the LNG, which I think we have the experience in. We have the platform, we have the ships. We also need it for the downstream industries, and at the same time, you could chew and walk at the same time and develop the agro industry and create micro entrepreneurs. And that's what you need to develop, the Chow Kings, the micro entrepreneurs, and at the same time develop our cultural tourism so that everybody gets a piece of the action. You do those things, and you level with the country, and you are truthful with the country. You will build up the credibility and the trust that is so missing. And your crime, your record on crime is so disgraceful. You don't even know what to say now. You're saying you don't know, you don't know any Mr. Big. Oh, please give us a chance. Please. And people listening to me, let me just say, Anslin, I know they could get angry with me. I know there are people in the PNM, but you have to understand, you have to love your country first. And you have children and you have grandchildren. And you have to make sure that it is not on your conscience that you did not do what you could have done to take Trinidad from the slide that it is going downhill every year. As long as you leave our leadership there, you're seeing what is happening to the country. You are seeing you are seeing it. If you want to pretend, but take your head out of that sand and say, is that what I want to do for the future generation? Just an example, the HSF. You notice why he wasn't talking about it? And he didn't boast as he liked to boast? Since 2014 was the last time he put money in the HSF. It is because the HSF in 2017 had $5 point something billion. Now it has $4 point something billion, because he took out 7 times and he boasted every time. Don't worry. Even though I took it out in 6 months, we made it back up, because he doesn't want to tell you that the HSF is not doing as well as it was. He didn't want to boast about that. He didn't want to boast that our real GDP, even though our GDP is, because of the value of goods and services so high, we are actually in a negative. We're actually in a negative position. And yes, we might make the 2%, but you understand why, as a country, you cannot put your confidence in these people. They have let you down every single time. There are few things that they have done that they have actually completed. And the public-private partnership, you have to look at that with a jaundiced eye. Please look at it with the jaundiced eye you deserve. See that procurement legislation? You see how they want to leave out Bolt and all those, those financial transactions? Build, operate, lease, and transfer. Those are considered financial transactions. You must read the paper. I did an article on the Central Tenders Board Act and with the Procurement Act, and made the comparison, and that qualifies as a financial transaction, although it's a construction, because you build, operate, lease, and transfer. They don't want you to see the deals that are being made. They don't want, like the one with the Chinese, that they had to rush and say, I didn't realize. I didn't realize you gave it. It wasn't me. That's what they do. They deflect, take no responsibility, and the AV drilling. Your good friend, Mr. Bash. I mean, you don't understand that people don't trust you all anymore. And you're gonna get these people to hate me. Don't hate me, because I am not the person to hate. I don't hate anyone, because that's not what the PNM is about. Love, and I don't hate anyone. I love Trinidad and Tobago. I love my country more than anything else, and I want people to understand that this is not a contest to destroy anybody or pull on anybody. I am telling you, I know a lot of those players. I think I understand a lot of those players. And unfortunately, when you have ministers like Stuart Young going on CNN and saying train one is like, when he knew it wasn't true, when he had to be recusing himself so many times. I mean, I'm so disappointed in him. When you have people like that, they could say they will try and manufacture things about me. But bring me one person, and it has to be a person. Bring somebody, bring the person. Don't start saying things about me. The CL financial report, publish it. I want you to publish it because it's a people's partnership that did it, not you. It was the opposition. So publish it and let people see what they say about everybody who might be your friends or may not be your friends, and what they say about me. That is why this country needs a change, because we cannot afford to continue like this. I cannot leave a Trinidad and Tobago in the hands of people whose interest is for a few people and who need their validation of their self-worth by putting on fancy clothes and going in fancy parties. Who the hell, who cares? What does that matter? You ever saw Eric Williams do that? Huh? The father of the nation? You don't need to be doing that. Is that so necessary? No, but it's not necessary. Why you think drinking fancy champagne, being seen here and there, dressing up and doing, modeling, that thing, that was so ridiculous. Modeling in a fashion show and hobnobbing with who you think is the people that you should know. It says so much about your value system. And it tells me that is not a person to run this country. That is not someone you want running this country, because you're too in love with things material. You are too entranced with things that are glamorous and that you feel give you or bring self-worth. If you had a good sense of self-worth, you'd get down to the job and tell your ministers, like Mr. Manning did. He used to tell you, you want a holiday? I think he was too unreasonable, to be honest. It was unreasonable, telling you. After 5 years over, you take a holiday. Now he was overdoing it. He overdid it. Now, the point I'm saying is, you get your ministers to work and stop fooling the people and stop it. I don't know who you think you're fooling with that and going around like a king and a queen. We don't have a monarchy,
I have a question for Mr. Chair.
One minute,
so you know how
okay.
I feel. I've expressed myself passionately about how I really do feel. I would just want to say one thing. I think I made a lot of friends.
But Karen, why do you think they would want to publish the CL financial report?
Well, one good reason, which I had said in 2016, by the way, when I knew they weren't going to do it. Because to be honest, I think they were coming after me and their governor. I was told that from very good sources. And you see, because that's not the PNM, it was the People's Partnership. And they believe that I had to be dirty. I had to be up to something wrong, because that's what politicians do. And that's what I had to have done. So when you do those commission reports, every part of the world, they tell you it's really a political tool. Because in a commission of inquiry, it just don't have the restrictions you have in a court of law. And it allows them to ask you questions and so on that you could not ask in a court of law. So it is really a way to, a commission of inquiry is really a way to throw dirt on the other side. And I, at that time, was persona non grata for the then Prime Minister, Kamala Bissassa. I don't know if she feels that way about me now, but she certainly felt that way about me then. So just to give you an idea of how it was, they had hoped that they would have discovered my thievery, they would have discovered my corruption. They would have discovered that some email, some phone was somewhere, which would show that my hands were dirty. What they found out was that all the people that should have been minding the store of a private enterprise had failed the country. And you have to have a scapegoat. And there was no better scapegoat politically than I, for a number of reasons. But just to tell you the ill will with which it was done, when I realized they were not calling me, and by the way, the HCU thing, in HCU, the Coleman actually praised me for coming forward. They don't talk about it at all. The only thing he said that wasn't good, he said the permanent secretary should have taken notes, which is true. But I was new at the job. I didn't realize it would never happen to me again. So there were notes missing. But when I did the CL Financial, we were having a meeting, they were not taking notes, but I told them start taking notes. Because why not taking notes? I want notes taken. So when they were starting to prepare for the commission of inquiry, I noticed they're not calling me as a party. So I got a little call and telling me they want to subpoena you to make you look like a hostile witness. So what I did is I went to the office. It was a Friday going back to Barbados. And I wrote a letter saying, I noticed you haven't called me, but I was the minister that signed the MOU on behalf of the government. And I noted you have not called me as a party. So I'm offering myself. And I went in, I saw the secretary. She was shocked and taken aback. She said to me, take it back, no, take it back. I will send you, I'll call you in, bring you in and invite you in on Monday. When Monday came, she wrote a letter that gave the impression that she was forced to have me come in as a member. I fixed her good, and I like her, but she mustn't do me that. Don't be dishonest with me. I said, just for the record, I came into the commission of inquiry. I came in with a letter to ask to be a party because I noted I was not being asked, although I played a significant role. And you asked me to withdraw my letter because you were going to write me. And if anything I have said is not true, please write back and inform everybody else who is now on this commission. She had not a word to say. And you know why they didn't want me to see Anslem? Because when I joined, I found out that on the very next day, it's in the records, so anybody could see it in the records, that the very next day, CLICO, CL Financial had a meeting with Lawrence Dupre. And Lawrence Dupre was beside himself. He said the worst thing that Andre Monday could have ever done was to sign an MOU with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. The government has taken away CL Financial from us. That's how angry he was. And they had a meeting about 2 days later, and he repeated the same thing. So if I was in there, but they never talk about that. They never talk about how CL Financial, Lawrence Dupre, on record in his thing, said that was the worst thing that had ever happened, signing that MOU, and now the government owns CL Financial. Why they don't talk about that? They don't want me to look good. They don't want the world to know that I was not in the hands. And in fact, when they came after me, it was not the opposition that went after me. It's people in the CLICO Investment Bank who lost their money because the governor and I said, anybody under the central bank legislation, because remember there was an incident years ago with an insurance company, and that's when they started forming. They have certain insurances that you would have. And so the policy was anyone that had anything to do directly with the collapse of a financial institution, they or being the immediate CEO or chairman, their spouse and children could not benefit from the government's tax payment of taxpayers' money. And certain people were very upset about that. And if I was in the hands of those people, you don't think they would have mashed me up long time? They want to mash me up, but they couldn't. And if I tell you all that I know, they sit around there quietly, listen to me, but they know how far they went to try to destroy me. Some of the people who sitting right there in that government, how far they went to try to destroy me, to get me out of the government, because they're not serving the government of Trinidad and Tobago, but serving their financiers and friends. And they know I have the proof because I showed it to one of their people. So he went back and told them, say, she have the proof. She have the proof. So that is why they leave me alone. They could say what they want, release the CL Financial report, and bring the one person who could say that I did anything wrong. And by the way, Clico is a family-owned company. Why I, Karen Tesheira, now join the government, must know my husband was dead about 3 years. I was living in St. Augustine. Had nothing to do with the company. In fact, I felt that they had a lot to do. They wanted my husband out. He came and told me that. I say, Karen, is right. They had a meeting at by the Savannah where they owned a club thing there. And he said, all the managers, I think it was 17 managers, they all signed up things saying they understand they're trying to get rid of Mr. Tesheira, who has been an excellent vice president of marketing. And they understand they want to remove him, and they want Mr. Dupree to know that they do not support that. My husband came home and showed me the letter, right? So you think I will support people who wanted to destroy my husband? But I said nothing. You know why? Because they had my name so blacklisted and they were calling my name that my voice would have been drowned out. So I waited for that commission. And when I had the commission, everybody got quiet. You know why they got quiet? Because they found out, guess what? She wasn't in their back pocket. Guess what? She took nothing from them. They took away, you know what they did to me? That's how spiteful they were. The insurance, the health insurance that I had with my husband, my daughter was still underage. They took away the health insurance from me, which they didn't have to, but they took it away. You see, the house that we were living in with the mortgage, it was a certain rate because of my husband being in Pico. They put it up to the commercial rate. My husband was the one that would organize the event for Independence Day at the Hilton, all the fireworks. He was the one in charge. They did not invite me. They did not. When my husband was in charge of the trip to go to, they did not invite me on my thing. And then they wanted to have the bold-facedness. I'm telling the files on them because they know it's true. They had the bold-facedness to ask, what's his name now? Because I always like my stories. When people know that if I say the names, they know I can't be making it up. His brothers plays the piano. I have nothing against him, by the way. He rang me up and told me they want me to come to the end of year presentation with the new VP to present me with a bouquet of flowers and some book they had written. I told him, you can take that invitation where the sun doesn't shine. I said, you are not going to use me when you treated my husband so badly, and indirectly you chose to treat his wife badly, the way that you have treated me. You can keep your invitation, you can keep your flowers. So how they had this thing that I am in cahoots with them. I was not in cahoots with anyone. In fact, what I knew was I could not show anger towards Dupree, because if I showed anger towards Dupree, the public would say, hey, look at her now. She's saying they're not vexed, but you see her face looking like she's vexed. We in trouble. I go in down in the public bank and taking all my money, yes. I go in Clico. So I had to keep up a face that everything was wonderful. But it wasn't wonderful. I couldn't, I made decisions that they don't even know. I won't say who it is, who treated my husband so badly when he was CEO, that my husband had to come back and say he never wanted to pay him his premium, which he was due, waiting 6 months down the line to pay him. I am the one that said, put him back, because we need to have continuity and we need to give an impression that all is well. The country is looking at us and we cannot appear not to be in control. They do not want to release that thing because Coleman is going to say that I had no choice but to do what I did. It was happening all over the world, and they can bring not one example of me stealing anything. Just to be clear to you, by the way, the one thing they keep talking about, the Clico thing with the, I can't even remember how you call it. The
insider trading.
The executive flexible something, you know that one where a lot of people with 10% and all of that. Yeah. I invite you, because it must have been one of the thing. I went in and got them to write. We have done a due thing of our records. And Mrs. Tesheira, her husband, no children have ever owned any of them. So when you want to say that I knew that, I knew nothing about Clico. So that's why they don't want it, because they're friends, because he said what they have in that report is so egregious. It is so unconscionable, the behavior of some people. I never got a salmon letter. I never got a letter warning me I'm going to say something bad about you. So find out what you want to say back. They do not want to release it because their own friends are the ones that have the, and they don't want me to look good because they want to be able to continue the narrative that somehow I did what? What did I take that wasn't mine? Tell me what is it I took that did not belong to me? And tell me who it is that told me you have 10 years, 12 years of God, and how come you can't find that person? Huh? How you can't find the person? Find the person. Let the country know. Stop the speculation. Release the report. And if you don't want to release the whole report, release the part that deals with me and how because the Coleman said he's going up to June 2009. And he said the political decisions. That's what he said was his remit. So I was the politician involved, and I want him to release the part of the report in which Coleman spoke about my part in the whole debacle. But they don't want to do that, because if they do that, they'll say, oh God, what is they going to say about Tesheira? They have nothing they could say. She didn't ask us for anything. She didn't beg for anything. I want nothing from them.
I have a question for you. I'm patiently waiting.
Thank you.
Now, what plan and vision do you have for expanding the party in the diaspora community, which is approximately over 650,000 Trimbagonians living abroad, with up to and including allowing us to cast our vote in our birthland?
I think that's an important right, and I think that is done in the United States, and I think that is a right that should be allowed persons, because for one, a lot of countries, and Trinidad is among them, especially when we went through that difficult period of the COVID, remittances played a very important part, and still now plays a very important part in the life of many of our citizens who depend on the Western Union and the PayPal and whatever to help them to meet their living, to be able to pay for their not a lifestyle, because it's not a lifestyle, to be able to exist, and also the barrels that are sent home. So in a way, they in a sense, and it's part of the GDP. It's actually factored into as part of the GDP. So it's not just a thing that somebody is 10 million. They actually tell you what percentage of the GDP remittances pay. In Jamaica, very big part, Eastern Caribbean, a very big part, and I think for Trinidad, when we went through COVID and what we're going through now. So that alone gives one the argument, puts validity to the argument that they should be able to participate in the life of their country. Now, the point about it is that people are allowed to have dual citizenship, aren't they? And dual citizenship means that you are allowed to swear allegiance to two countries. Now, if you want to go into the politics, you can't do that. But if you want to be a citizen, it means that it is not seen as being mutually exclusive, that one can be a citizen of two countries, as many West Indians are with dual citizenship. And similarly, when it comes to the life of the country and the life of decisions that are made by the parties when they come into office, I see that an opportunity presents itself for that. And I certainly am one of those that have many family members living abroad who have never lost their Trinidad accents, and I feel as very much part of being Trinidad. I think it can't go on generationally. It will have to be the first generation. It can't go on second and third thing unless they're born in Trinidad. You have to put some parameters fit, but I do see the value to it.
So Karen, stay right there. We're going to go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets and WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us newly announced Karen Nunez Tesheira, who is going to contest Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley in the upcoming.
You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. The most.
We look forward keenly to that contest, and let's go for a quick station identification. We'll be right back after that. Stick and stay, don't go nowhere. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Karen, let's bring in a few other people who have been patiently waiting here. Jason, are you there? Jason? Are you there, Jason?
His mic is muted.
Yeah, but you might be able to hear me. Jason, are you hearing me? Okay. Jason? No, Jason is not hearing me. We're going to move on. Let's move on to the next person. That is Nunez Novel was already in here. She was already in here. Let's see. Beverly Nunez. Beverly was already here? Was Beverly here, Karen?
Successful.
Yeah.
She was here before?
Yeah, but she tried. Yes, you could say so because she's, yes, we would say yes.
Okay, all right. So, all right. She was already here. Oh, let's go. We have Vindra. Vindra, are you there? Vindra? That's Jason. I think Jason was already here as well. All right. Jason was already here too. Let's get rid of Jason. Here is Vindra. Oh, Vindra is gone. I just thought Vindra was there. Okay, Vindra is gone. Let's see who's this. Hello, you're on WZYE 95.9 FM. Hello? Hello, are you there?
He's not unmuting. That's the same.
Yeah, they're not unmuting. They're supposed to unmute. Anyway.
And you said it so many times. I don't know how else you could say it again.
Yeah. Okay, here's Vindra. Let's bring Vindra. Vindra, are you there? Hello, Vindra?
Yes, I am, but I keep getting thrown off because I'm in here from Houston. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Vindra.
Hi, Vindra. How are you?
Good. I'm with a bunch of Trinis in Houston visiting,
you 100%.
and they're saying they're supporting you 100%. Very brave.
Thank you very much. Yes,
brave.
Mhm.
What we need. Exactly what we need.
So, Vindra, you're from where? You're from where?
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, but I'm just visiting my sister in Houston.
Okay, and they're supporting Karen 100%.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else want to say something? Anybody else want to say anything?
Well, I could.
Okay, the mic
You
went.
know who that is? The Amars. Amars
Yeah.
of Trinidad. The Amar family.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. No, we are. I mean, we are listening with a lot of great interest because everyone is talking about the direction of the country and feeling distressed and feeling concerned and looking for leadership, looking for direction, and maybe we are not as brave as Karen, but we are very happy to support and follow.
Thank you, Vindra. Thank you so much.
Karen has
a lot of things going on in the background. It looks like a lot of eating and drinking going on in that background.
Okay, Vindra, thank you so much.
Yes, sorry about that. I had to. Sorry about that. I moved away.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Vindra is gone. So let's see who's next. We have Natasha. I think Natasha
came already.
Natasha?
You had Natasha already.
Yeah, but I think Natasha wants to come back. Natasha, do you want to say something? Natasha?
I know I spoke already. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Take care. All right. All right. So I think your sister Beverly will seem like she wants to come back. Beverly, are you there? Hi, Beverly. Beverly? Okay.
You can't get them on.
Yeah. Beverly's gone. Let's try Marjorie as well. See, I don't know if Marjorie, do you want to say something? Marjorie?
Hi, this is Marjorie. I spoke earlier using Beverly's phone.
Oh,
But
okay.
so I'm now using my phone. So I'm enjoying the conversation. It's so uncanny because Karen, I sent you an email last Thursday on work-related matters. And I did say, Karen, if you were to go go up as the leader of, the party and be the Prime Minister of Trinidad, I will support you even from the back, not knowing that you were going to make this announcement today. So I find that rather uncanny, but continue with what you're doing. You are very brave, braver than most people I know. So great success, I hope, is in the future. And as I said earlier, we are here to support.
Thank you so much.
I don't know why they keep telling me I'm brave, because
Yeah.
that seems to be the one continuum.
Mhm.
So that is, in fact, everyone that I told that I was going to put my hat in the political ring, they had the major concern was how nasty the politics can be. And I will have to say that, how nasty the politics can be. And I think to some extent, the fear that they have of how nasty it can be. And it's a very sad thing that a conversation like that could even come to people's minds, that they would all, almost to a man, tell you to look out, be careful, and it's the same reason. And when you hear that, you say to yourself, well, where has Trinidad reached that someone cannot legitimately because the Prime Minister years ago in the 1990s, I believe, he challenged Mr. Manning for the leadership of the PNM. And of course, I wasn't as much as involved in politics as I am now, but I certainly can't recall the sense of anyone feeling that if he had won, or if whatever the outcome was, that there was some danger attached to it. But in my case, regardless of the person, and even the people calling, some people would be afraid to say anything. One, they may not be watching the show. That's a good enough reason, because it's not, it's not a local show unless you know about it, and you might not be watching it. So that's one reason. The other reason would very well be that people are afraid to be seen to be supporting someone just in case, and they don't want to lose whatever contract, they don't want to lose whatever it is. And it's really sad that that it can reach to the point of that level of fear for them, and for me, for people to be afraid for me, even to the point of talking about my life. I mean, that is, I'm telling you honestly, that is the expression of that courage that most people, when they talk about it in regarding me, has been about that. And, I may be foolish then, or I may be naive or something, but to think that our country could reach to the point that anybody could even countenance that as a reason for me to stay out is enough to tell you where people may believe that the country has reached.
Karen, your sister just make another point. She said, good point, Karen. When a man declares his decision, he is applauded. She just made that comment in the...
Yeah, well, that's the author in the family. Yeah? That's the writer in the family. I won't be surprised that she would say something like that, But we always have conversations about the politics, and so she knows my love over the politics. And I have a friend who's actually an American, went to Medgar Evers College, and knows me since I'm 18. I was introduced through my sister from Medgar Evers, and she said to me, we spoke today. So when I told her, I mean, she has gone through so many challenges herself. And she said, Karen, that is just who you are. That is who you are. And I have to fulfill that part of myself. Whatever, I have to fulfill that part, because my love of my country is so strong. My love of this country is so strong. I know some people can't understand that. And I understand people not understanding that, because not everybody would want to do this. I understand it. But we are all different. And if this is how I feel that strongly about my country, about Trinidad and Tobago, and I feel that I can make a contribution, I have thought out of some of the things that need to be done, the importance of your selection of ministers, your importance of being laser focused in whatever you do, the importance of, maintaining the confidence and trust as Mia Motley has been able to do. I've thought a lot of those things, and whether it is for the national community, and right now it's for the PNM community to make their decision about what they are. And I hope that they will see what I am trying to do as something that I feel is important for the good of the country.
Karen, I think your sister wants to make another statement. Hello, you there?
Yes,
Yes, go ahead.
The point I wanted to make is that, our society is still sexist. Let's just say that is true. So when a man, we expect women to play a role in the background, to support the male and to play a role in the background. So when I say that Karen is brave, she is countering that narrative. She's standing up for all women. She is showing, whether win or lose, she is just saying, I have the same right as any man to stand out and say that this is what I want to do. And the fact is, we have been schooled, both men and women, to the role that a woman must play. A woman is supposed to play the role of support. She's not to stand up and say, I want to be the leader. I want to be in charge. I want to be at the helm. And, so this is Karen's personal decision, of course. But the decision she is making personally is going to ricochet for women right across Trinidad and for those of us abroad. For us to see a woman coming before the public in this way and saying, I want to be a leader and I have the qualifications to be a leader. So Karen is right when she says, why must we use the word brave? Why must we use the word courage? But it's because of the times. And given the times, it is a courageous thing she's doing. I don't think she is saying, I'm going to choose an easy path. I think she is smart enough and realistic enough to know that there are daggers out for her right this minute as we are speaking. My phone is ringing, so there are friends, I guess, calling me. Oh, one of them is my son, Jason.
Okay.
Speak to Jason. Speak to Jason.
Okay. All right.
To get you on the program. Anyhow,
yeah. So let me give him the link. Give Jason the link.
They're going to think you're my manager.
I'm speaking for women here.
Yeah, but
okay, I'm on the phone, so I'm going to get off.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Oh my goodness. Now you see where we get the gift of the gab, eh?
Yeah, I mean, Karen,
yes.
Is there like a telephone number? Have you set up a telephone number in case people want to make donations? Have there a telephone number or email address or anything like that as yet?
Well, I have been lucky enough to have a team that is supportive of me, and they are going to start. They are on the ball as we speak. So all of that is going to come to realization by tomorrow. And what they're allowing me to do is to focus on the goals that I think are important for Trinidad and Tobago and the questions that people ask. So what difference are you going to make? What are you going to do different? Why must we believe in you? Why must we think that you will make our lives different? So I'm trying to focus on that as they would focus on their part.
No, let me get some things here in the chat. Hold on, I don't know. I don't know if I'm all right. Let me say this. This is what the person says. The person says, Karen Nunez, you must put your own cabinet together ASAP. You can't bring back those sad parasites in office. We want complete changes.
Well, I think well, this is not the national election, by the way. This is the leadership
internal
position. But of course, if you're really serious, I remember Mr. Manning saying, and it's not the you know, he said, you know, when we were out of office, and I think he published a booklet that became his sort of Bible. He said, and Mrs. Manning said it too, he would sit down in that garage at their home and all night be thinking of what he could do. And he put together a team, which included Dr. Rowley, by the way, of thinkers to put together and frame and craft our position when we got into office. So do not think that I am not doing the same thing. I am. And I think that you want commitment. You do not, if you can help it, do as best a background check that you don't want anybody come in there with an agenda which is not in the interest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, has the capacity and ability. And that, by the way, when I say an agenda,
right,
you know, people can disappoint you.
You have done and you have accomplished, right?
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Karen.
No. I'm just saying that people can disappoint you, because sometimes when you think that what they're saying is really because they love their country, is really because they're trying to promote their consultancy or get a consultancy or promote a product that they have, but you don't know about, then you find out why they took that position. So you have to be realistic. It's very hard. This is not a game for Boy Scouts, although they've gotten themselves into quite a bad name, I have to add. And I can't even say priests because they've gotten a bad name also. So I don't know who I can use as an analogy. But the point is, you have to understand that you want capable, committed, hardworking, laser-focused persons who understand the importance of their country and their country. If they don't want to do that, don't come in. It's all right. Stay in the private sector. It's okay. Nobody vexed with you for that. But don't come in there to say you're coming to serve the people, and all you really come to do is to serve yourself and your friends and things. And make sure you get contracts, and you can sit down and drink your Johnny Walker Blue, and drink your champagne and make style and feel important and buy a big car and feel good. If that is what is behind your interest in the politics, or being called Miss Madam Minister or Mr. Minister and click, if that's what is propelling you, don't go, because it's not for you. It's not going to work. It's not for you. It's not for you.
Karen, do you believe that Clico and CL Financial are insolvent?
That is a good question. You know, what I did when we came out of office, I tried to do as what I see they do in the United States, and I suppose they do that in England. When you're out, you're out. And I think that whatever I started to hear was so distressing to me that I think that it was in my interest to leave well alone. The only one that is currently on the radar for me, for which we can't get an answer, so maybe your listeners will get the answer. Maybe I'll write an article, because maybe if they don't want to answer, then I'm going to write an article on the issue with ProMan. Why won't they say why ProMan is not 51% shareholding in ProMan is not in CLF and Clico's hand? Is it because the value of the ProMan shares now, with all the investment in methanol, they're going into to the hydrogen as a form of energy, the investment in the ammonia. I don't know if it's ammonia, but certainly it is in the downstream industry. Is it so significant that if one were to put a price tag to it, then Clico would no longer be insolvent? Now, you all know I have shares that I inherited from my husband, the value of which I was never told, contrary to what was said. I tried to find out. They asked me, I tried to find out. So I saying that that's what he got with his job. But what I do find that they don't give up audited accounts. And it just seems to me that ProMan thing bothers me. You know why ProMan bothers me a lot? Because I remember, I don't think people recognize, you notice it's not the Attorney General suing ProMan Barbados or ProMan Trinidad. It is CLF and Clico. And the reason I'm making that point is that once the company is under liquidation, as under the Section 44D emergency powers, it is not the government, but it is the liquidator and the central bank under its powers under the Act that have the authority to do what is necessary to recover the monies that was that the government used to bail out bail out Trinidad, or however people want to look at it. But what I find very, 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 I cannot understand, and I know there's something to it, that's the lack of trust I have. When the Vindra Rampasad in 2021, I believe, I was a witness. They called me and I did my duty as a former Minister of Finance who signed the MOU. And I went and I gave evidence to show that when they, Lawrence Dupree sold the 34% shareholding, I think, of CL Financial, and 17% or the other way around of Clico, of which he was held to be trustee of those shares, which would have given between the two a 51% majority shareholding in Proman. When he did it on the 3rd of February, after the MOU had signed and behind our back, that Davinder Ramaswamy gave a judgment that said, turned around and said the sale was invalid, that the shares were to be returned. I think they paid $46 million, which is a gross undervalue, that the government was to pay, or the CL Financial Clique was to pay the difference in the real value of the shares, but the shares were to go back to CLF and Clico. And all this talk about what Proman, going to Switzerland and talking to Proman and what Proman is doing and how much money Proman is there. Why is Proman why does Proman have that position? Why is it not CL and Clico? Who owns those shares? Has CL Financial and Clico taken back those shares as was ordered by the judge? I cannot understand it. Is it because doing that would mean that the monies owing to the government would be paid off, and therefore CL Financial and Clico would be relieved from the bankruptcy liquidation? I don't know. I don't have the answer, but there's something that we don't know. And up to now, the government hasn't. I just want the answer. Who has those shares? Why have you not, as the order was made? Because remember, it's not the government that made the suit, it was CL Clico, which would have been the central bank. And I know of another instance where the bank took action against Montai and Dupree, and they were stopped in their tracks. They started it and they had to stop. I won't go into detail. So I know that as a fact. So it's not necessarily the point I'm trying to make in that it may not necessarily be the government that is the one that pushed that that action being taken. It may very well be the liquidators separately and independently trying to recover the funds. And I cannot understand it, because they say Proman is a big player. So why don't we own 51% of Proman? Or maybe Clico supposed to? I don't understand it. I wish they would give us an answer.
Well, we await feverishly for an answer.
You must ask, because I can't get them to answer. I've asked that question about 10 times, and I get radio silence, which means
maybe I
have to answer the question.
Maybe I have to ask the question, but let me ask you next.
You have to ask the question.
Yeah. Do you consider CL Financial Limited the oldest and largest Black-owned global conglomerate in the world?
In the world?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. I'm sure Nigeria has multi-billionaires.
What about in Trinidad? Let me go in
Trinidad. In Trinidad, absolutely within Trinidad and also within the Caribbean. I think, it's like if you ever read Julius Caesar, even if you follow, if you're a Christian, you follow the life of Christ. 1 minute you are or anybody that had fame. 1 minute you are the best thing in the world. Nothing is better than you. And in a dime, just like that, you turn around and you are the most hated individual. So what I would say with Lawrence Dupree, who inherited it was two of them, one St. Lucian, I can't remember his name now, but it was founded by his Cyril Dupre, which is his, they were both Cyrils. Cyril Dupre, his uncle, and another Cyril who was from St. Lucia. And it was definitely seen to be a black company. And in fact, when they bought out so many shares of Republic Bank, there was such an outcry against this black company. It really was, I mean, that was his subliminal message that they didn't know their place, that business and big business was not for them. They must know that it's for only certain people, but not for you. So I think he did something that was very wrong, very, very, very wrong. And thank God my husband was no longer there, because I think he couldn't have stayed there. What he did that was very wrong was that he took from the statutory fund, which was people's savings, their life savings in terms of their investment for when they retire, their pensions, and so on. This is not cars or whatever thing. It's your pensions, which is supposed to be sacrosanct. And he had his agents going out there selling the insurance and this product, which I never owned and have never owned and don't even know exactly what exact name, but I do know that it was offering an interest rate of something like 10%. No bank, no financial institution was coming near to that 10%. So the person buying it themselves should have asked themselves, how could they offer this at 10%? It was really like a Ponzi scheme. But I think what he hoped to have achieved, because he was a risk taker, I don't think he was a bad person. I think he was a reckless person with people's money. And I think what he had intended to do was to make all these investments, which he had done with Angostura, make investments in Europe, make investments in land in Miami, so that instead of the first world countries coming to us and being investors, he would turn the tide around and we would become the investors. I think that was very important to him and very important to his agents. And there was a pride in what he was doing. But what he was doing was wrong, because what happened, of course, was the global financial crisis happened. And he simply did not have the money to put back in his statutory fund. And the law is clear that your debts, your liabilities and your assets must match. And he had been taking the money out of CLICO statutory fund, which he could not, it was against the law, and using that money as his cash cow for his family investments in all kinds of other businesses for the benefit of his family. And when he realized, as I understood it eventually, contrary to whatever anybody else may think, when I was told that it was, I think about January the 13th or something, I saw a letter on my desk from the governor of the central bank saying something about Lawrence Dupre. It was such a muddled letter. He wanted money but didn't need money. Was in, a mixed man. So I didn't even understand what the letter really was saying. But what he had realized was that he had reached a point where he could not put back the money that he should March. He didn't have to put it back by December, but according to the Insurance Act at the time, March 31st, and he knew he could not make that deadline. Also, too, because that Insurance Act was very weak, and it tied the hands of the governor in dealing with the insurance company in terms of monitoring it. You had a lot of limitations on his ability to monitor CLICO, but CLICO was their cash cow. And what I did not know, so I'm saying it now, and anybody could say that I am not saying, let them come forward and say it. I'm saying it now. I was, yes, the Minister of Finance, but you have to understand there's a lot of work in the Ministry of Finance. You have Inland Revenue, you also have Customs. I mean, it's a huge, huge ministry. And the state enterprises. So I was not managing the state enterprises. Remember, they used to have a Minister of State Enterprises alone. So I didn't manage it. And what I found out on that day, on January the 13th, I believe, that is the day I found, which is why people may think that I was somehow on the know, that apparently the companies owned oil companies owned by the state had been investing in this product, I can't remember what they call it, every 3 months, and they'd get huge returns. And then somehow they found out or discovered that Pico was in trouble, and they decided that they were not going to invest anymore. And they met with us. I did not know, because I didn't deal with the state enterprises. But I then found out what they were trying to get the government to do was to reinvest in Clico Investment Bank to keep it afloat. So I met with people from Clico Investment Bank, and they thought that the Prime Minister would give me instructions to tell me that we must reinvest. I met with them on a Friday, and I said, no, we're not putting any money in there. If we're going to put any money, you have to give us collateral to support that. We're not going to just go on your say so that you will pay it back. No, you have to give us. That's how the MOU came about. And I think when they left my office, they were in shock because they thought that the Prime Minister would have he never gave me any instructions. And they thought I was supposed to have said under his instructions that how much money do you need? Well, I did not get instructions. I did not do that. And it entered into MOU that said, if we have to bail you out because you're too big to fail, you're controlling most of 51% of Republic Bank, the largest local bank in the country. You own a whole set of Long Circular Mall, Trinity Mall. You own so much land, the second largest landowner in the country besides the government. You own so much in it that you could collapse this whole country. Especially what was going on around the world. Iceland had collapsed. Everybody was collapsing. And they had us by our neck. They knew that time was running against us because once it came out in the public domain that Clico was in trouble and had come to the government to bail them out, what would have happened is the lines in Clico, the lines in the public bank, the economy would have collapsed, especially because oil was $23. So what I'm trying to say to you is that the situation with CIB, contrary to what people said, I said to them, and that Prime Minister, who I have the utmost respect and regard for, left me to make that decision. And we said, no, wait. If you want it, you got to put up some collateral.
Karen, I want to ask you.
Happened.
Yeah.
Anybody who working in central bank, working in the government time, anybody, anybody to say what I said is not true. And I want anybody to say that I ever put my foot in central bank, ever told them what to negotiate, and that I ever looked at the MOU except in the presence of the permanent secretary, the advisor to the government. I never, ever, ever had any discussion with anybody representing Clico, ever, ever, ever. And I only saw the MOU when they had completed it, and we had the Treasury Solicitor, the permanent secretary, and the other. They overlooked it, and when I signed it, it was when they all agreed, which is why Lawrence Dupre said the day after, the worst thing that they ever did was letting Montai handle that matter because we just gave away Clico to the government. So I want them to say, bring the documents, bring the person to say what I said is not true. I would love you to do that. And release the report. We'll see if I'm making it up.
Well, we're calling them to release the report. Right?
Yeah, release the report. And you know what? Interview these people. They're still alive, and they're still around,
Well, maybe
ask them. Well, they might say I have nothing to say.
And maybe they're waiting for something like another 10 years or so, and then they go back and release.
No. What they're doing is they throw me under the bus because they know. And this is a disappointment in the whole thing. You know that I never went into the central bank. You know I had nothing to do with the negotiations that were going on in the central bank. You know that I didn't. The firm that was representing them, I had nothing to do. You know that when the MOU came to my desk, it's the first time I saw it, and I saw it not by myself in an office lockup as somebody, that man who has a fixation on me. What's his name? He's a land surveyor. What's his name again?
Nah.
After Raymond. Want to
Oh.
say, give an impression, I went behind closed doors. I went behind no closed doors, make it up. And I told him, don't repeat it again, you know, because you would say you did it because you didn't know. Well, you know, I saying it now. I've said it before. So if you do it again, I will bring a defamation action against you, because the thing will be on you to prove the truth of what you are saying. So and I told you that I said it when it came to me. The PS was there, the Treasury solicitor was there, the advisor that we had brought on was there, and I was there, and we all looked at the MOU and we made one or two changes, one of which was it should not be the central bank government to sign it. Since the government was paying out, it should be the ministry, the government that should sign it. That's the only change I can remember that was made. Let anybody say that I gave any instructions, change what came from them to us, and I sat down in any room with anybody by myself with that MOU. Let them say it. Let them say it. I'm begging you to come and say it. I'm begging you. You know, you see how I'm saying it? I'm begging them because you know why? They cannot say it. But what they wanted to do was get me fired from my work, though. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted me to get fired.
Well, Karen, I hope people are seeing that. You know, they're seeing your leadership abilities and your transparency, which is we don't have a lot going on in Trinidad and Tobago today. You know, we want people who are transparent, you know, put it on the table, you know, and let whatever it fall, wherever they may, you know, instead of just trying to throw stuff under the wall and see what goes stick, you know, because that's what the Chinese is. They throw spaghetti up on the wall and they say, okay, no, but all this spaghetti falling down to the corner. Let me try it up on the wall again. No, but they know that I'm sticking. Try to the right of the wall. No, but I ain't sticking to the right either, you know. Put a little more oil in it.
You're funny.
You know what I mean? You're funny. They say, all right, let me try virgin olive oil.
Coconut oil. How about some coconut oil? Come, let's get Trinidad now. God,
no, but grade the coconut. Get real coconut and make the oil from that. You know,
yes, that's what they're not doing. Yeah. They're not doing the coconut oil.
Yeah, something. But Karen, something that's very close to me, and this is what I want to ask you. Yes. What role, plan, and vision do you see the PNM playing in rebuilding the Black community in Trinidad and Tobago, mainly Laventille and Tobago? And the reason why I put Laventille in there, I'm being biased. I have to be honest with you. Just as how you are being transparent, I'm being transparent because I grew up in Chumacac, Laventille, and I left Trinidad and Tobago in 1977. And when I go back to Chumacac, Laventille today, I just cry.
And that's not what, well, if Minister Hines is the minister of that area, he said they have nothing to complain about. They have water, they have lights, they have education.
If they get 2 days of water, they shouldn't complain. If they get 2 days of water,
no. Well, we may have said that on another occasion, but on the day of the budget, when I was on CNC.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
When he's finished, I thought that must be some place in Hollywood that I have never visited, or Beverly Hills, because when he was finished, it was the most bucolic, utopian place to live. I said, well, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. So to answer your question, you have to be careful about not making it about race either. From that, you've got to do that. I am a Trinidadian, and I come from a very mixed background in terms of my family, my heritage, and we can't go into those kinds of, we can't go down that road. What we can do is we can address the persons who are most affected by the poverty, by the lack of opportunity to become entrepreneurs and to come out of poverty. That is who we must focus on. So by way of example, many of the persons of whom you speak, they live in HEC rental houses. They can't go to the bank with that because the bank not lending them anything with that. They don't have the salary that they can declare. They don't have the salary that they can declare to get a loan. And there's so many risks, so many regulations with this de-risking. It's almost making it impossible for them to come out of their poverty. So, you know, the Keynesian model, like he mentioned Keynes, because what Keynes said, the great economist, after the Great Depression, he understood that the state had an important role to play in the economy recovery. And we have to understand that there is a large sector in our community which we can't bring it down to race. We have to bring it down to the reality of their poverty, and their poverty being a function of urban poverty has a lot to do with it, and the causes, which we know where they come from. So why we have to deal with the crime, and we have to deal with the crime in a serious way, and stop pretending we don't know what is the cause. And we've got to deal with that. That will be a challenge, because some of them get used to that lifestyle and they find it glamorous and so on. So that will be a challenge. But what you have got to do is create opportunities to them to see themselves not as working for a salary, but to see themselves as entrepreneurs. Because I noticed in the minister's budget, he kept talking about small and medium, but I don't think people recognize that a micro enterprise is an enterprise that employs between 6 to 25 people and earns a gross of 5 million a year. So he left them out completely, much less for the Chow Kings. So if we are going to turn around this country, we have to reduce our food import bill, which affects our foreign exchange. We have to reduce those foreign franchises and encourage local franchises. And we have to create as models all over the country that where we go from market to table, and create companies and hands-on apprenticeship, like how when you worked in the oil companies, my sister said my father was at Shell, when you did apprenticeships, you were apprentice and then you got your certificate or whatever, but you were, and that was how it was back in the day. You apprentice to learn a trade, but what you're apprenticing to is to be an entrepreneur in your own right. And so you have to take the person. If I could do that, I would. And you don't need a lot of land. That is what Holland has showed you. I wouldn't go back over that story. But we can take the land and using the modern day technology, make that investment in them. That's an investment worth making instead of just giving them subsidies, because in the long run, it's the best investment you can make. And then let them do the marketing their product. And then, as I've said on another show, what we need to do is like the Savannah. We need to create that as a cultural center where booths, beautifully done, the way they did the Red House and the President's House, and create these booths and make them into entrepreneurs. Not only that, with the cultural tourism, train people in Airbnb. Most people travel now. They travel Airbnb, but they do the travel. What they do is that travel thing and ask you to rate your experience. A lot of them don't know better. They don't understand the well-heeled, sophisticated clientele that they want to be able to charge the kind of money they want to charge. There are a lot of people sitting down now who have a house that they could put on an extension and build a nice B&B because they're located in the right place, or have places they can't get rented. And you can create a whole market. Why only the hoteliers must make the money? And then create the connection for the agro industry to provide them with organic, a real experience. Train people to be real tour operators. When you go to Europe, the people that take you on those tours are university people or students at university, people on vacation who know what they're talking about. In other words, you can't open up a little something up on Pyramid and open up something with a steel band and talk and sell me doing something. That is a mishmash, splatter kind of approach. So if I could, and I would do it, open up a steel pan factory, sell it to the home of the steel pan, put them beautifully packaged, because packaging is everything, beautifully packaged, and create your market in Sweden, Norway, all those countries, Japan, and the home of the steel pan. So when you get it from there, and then you send with it a video showing them the basic of how to play a pan. You can build up a whole business network, but the government has to do it and has to help them. Because I want to just say one other thing. When people talk about the private sector, I can't go into all the details that I've gone in with on that before, but this one point. Right now going on in England, there's a huge problem, strike with the railway and the trains and the buses. You know that. And it's created a big crisis there. What people may not know is that whilst the rails and the transport was privatized, the government still subsidizes both of them because it's seen as a socio-economic priority. So it is not mutually exclusive. They did that with TNTech, with TGU and TNTech being a distributor. And according to Mr. Rouge, they say that TNTech owe the government 800 million, but he's saying the ministries owe TNTech 900 million. So take it, I don't know what the answer is. But what I am saying is that's what we need to focus on. Growth and creating entrepreneurs in these two particular fields so that they can become contributors to the national economy. They can also feel pride in themselves and get the opportunity that they will never have because they don't own land. They never will own land because they rent it all the time and they're living in a life of despair. And that is what I think I would do. That would be a priority. Take off the duty put a cap on the duty for cars. The foreigners pay the actual price of the ticket, which I don't think would be that much. Also, in fairness, I just have to say this. In fairness, I read an article where they was criticizing this government and saying that they had made no investment in terms of fiscal incentive for the oil sector. The reality was, and I read it, I think it was in the 2018 budget, but the minister, and I wrote it down somewhere, where he said they were paying the equivalent of corporation tax, which they call petroleum profits, they were paying none. There were about 3 or 4 taxes that they would have paid, they paid none of them. All they were paying was royalties and the supplemental petroleum tax, which was on much. He said at the end of the day, it was like the grass growing and the cow starving. And he said the reason that was given by the then government, it was not a PNM government, was because they wanted investment in deep sea exploration and so on. So when they say that the government did not incentivize the energy sector, it is unfair not to say that you made absolutely, according to the minister, absolutely nothing because you were allowing them to not pay anything so that they could do this, take the risk that's involved in exploration. You must say that. And the last thing I want to say, we've got to understand that the same way Shell and BPTT seemed like they were ready to pack up the other day because oil prices and gas prices were going, they're talking renewable, until the source of wind energy, the windmills that they had in the sea, stopped blowing. So they had to go to coal. They had to start using coal. And then Russia say, no, we didn't blow up the pipeline. It was an accident, 2 accidents, right? So you know that Europe is not going to allow that to continue. What they want is to do the LNG. This is where we need to jump in because you have to build the platform, you have to build the ship, and that is our opportunity to do that. And I would say that the government should not close its eyes. Regardless of what people say, every government looks after its people's interests. You believe it. America, whatever they may say, they do what is in the interest as all countries would do. And I am saying, don't worry to fight another country's battle when your country is suffering. So if you need natural gas, and the best place to get, the closest place to get that natural gas to the downstream industry, for us to be able to continue to have a viable downstream industry and produce ammonia, methanol, and urea, where the prices might have fluctuations and so on, as well as we develop the other growth poles and stop that import of so much food that adds so much to our inflation rate and uses up our foreign exchange and leaves you and takes away from your ability to invest in infrastructural or growth projects. So that is my take. If I were sitting down in that seat, I would really focus on getting the natural gas. Stop pretending. Matapal, all that thing. Stop pretending. How much gas you getting? You did a deep sea round the other day, and 21, only 4 were taken. So now you come with a 3-tiered system for shallow bid round with and imagine I mean, it could happen, it could happen that oil could go to $201. But if you notice, oil is going downwards. It's a downward trend. And gas is about $6.80. So I think the $92 is too high. I think the $6 is right. But I think we have to take off the blindfold and understand we've got to get natural gas fast. And we know where we can get it from. The closest way, Kevin Ramnaran gave me a lecture on why Ghana is not the best, is far too far if you want to make fit to be feasible. Let us get the gas. Let us make the polyethylene downstream so we could go polypropylene and plastics and resins and all that, go downstream with that, because we have the knowledge, we have the plants, you have done the investment already. And then at the same time, you chew in and walk in the agro entrepreneurs, the cultural entrepreneurs, so that they can be their own businessmen in their own rights. That is what we need to do. And if we do that, all of us in Trinidad and Tobago will benefit.
You know, Karen, it's something. I had a question I was going to ask you. And the question was, why are you a better choice to lead the PNM and by extension the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? But I wonder if you just answered it.
Well, I want to say that.
Or if you want to answer it.
Well, I think I've sort of answered it by
I thought you sort of answered it.
The things that I think that need to be done, the implementation. It's two things that you see, because yes, the government did some things. The heritage buildings, I give them credit for what they did with the buildings. I know some people may think why they did that. There'll never be a right time to do that, okay? Because in no country will ever have all that flush of money that they can't save our Red House. That's our children's and grandchildren. That's their heritage. They must understand what the significance of the Red House, Stallmeyer's Castle, good or bad. It's part of who we are today. So they did something with the Heritage House. They did something with the $500, which you can't take anybody anywhere with the cost of living being so high. The diesel, they kind of, playing a little smart with it, because up to 2015 was $150 per liter. Now it's gone to $491. I mean, so you're saying you're trying to help the poor man. I don't know if he might agree with you so much. So you've done something with that. But even the moves that you've made in oil and gas, I think the government is rightfully skittish about that, because they know any day, all this talk about all these agreements, I would like is agreements to agree, So the two main, by the way, the Standard & Poor's BBB is 1 grade below junk bond, We went from negative to stable, so I suppose that's what he was talking about. But what I would, and by the way, too, when he wants to boast about how much money we have in the foreign exchange reserves, up to about 2014, so we had 11 months of import cover. We now have 6.8 billion, or 8 months of import, eight months and a half, maybe not a half, of import cover. And that is because you floated a bond of US $1 billion to put in the foreign exchange and to pay bills. You draw down the special drawing rights, which we all got, and you went into the Heritage Stabilization Fund about 6 times. And by the way, the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, as I already said, has about $1 billion less now. You used to boast, you say take out, but it didn't make a difference, because in 6 months it came back. But notice he had nothing to say about that. So if I had to deal with things, I think you have to get the trust and confidence. You have to be honest with the population, but be positive and implement. And you have to go for quick wins. And a quick win would be, as I said, with the cars, that people, they must put a definite ceiling on how much duties that you will not pay for those cars that you're driving around in, and people are suffering and can't even afford to pay for transport to take their children home. That is not right. That they put it in my face. So I would do that, and I would also focus on agro industry and the entrepreneurship movement thing, deal with culture, and do something about natural gas that we have the production, which we have not had for about 7 years. Stop fooling yourself. You know what he had said? I have to laugh, you know. He said, it's 1890. He said, well, it's projected that we'll have 3.7 and 3.8 and 3.9 MMBTU in those 3 years. You know what it is? It's over 1 million less every single year. For every single year. And you know what you must look at? Don't look at the GDP, you know, because the GDP went up, I think about 40 billion was the GDP. But what you must look at is the real GDP, which is when you take out the impact of the increase in prices, which we know is the oil and gas. Because when you look at Barbados's real GDP, it is about 10-point-something%. And that is what you need to look at. You have to also look at the growth. The reason why the economy has not grown except 1 year, because 0.1%, is even if your GDP is high, the fact of the matter is your revenue and your growth is low because you simply don't have the revenue, because all of it is being eaten up by recurrent expenditure. And we have to bring a halt, not a complete halt, but we have got to find other avenues rather than continuing to pay subsidies. We have got to turn those young people into entrepreneurs. That's what we have to do.
You know, Karen, I gotta tell you, I think the whole of Trinidad and Tobago is buzzing now with that announcement that you are going to run for political leader.
Buzzing is a nice way to put it. Of course, if it was a fly on the wall, I wouldn't.
Somebody tell me Dr. Rowley grow some here.
No, I will tell you something.
Yeah.
Fair is fair. Dr. Rowley is a very attractive person and he takes good care of himself. And I have to say, if you think that he and Biden could be about the same age, it's like chalk and cheese. So give due where it's due. You know, he has always maintained a look of health and vigor, and that is good for a leader. You want a leader that has that look. So if you go to here, he don't want to go to here because it will grow sparse. And if it goes,
I find it to be a very attractive.
It will go sparse, it will go gray. So he rocking the right look. He rocking the right.
I find him to be very attractive. If he wasn't married, I would have tossed my hat in the ring.
Oh, he is an attractive man. He is an attractive man, and I will say that. You know, you mustn't be a hater. You know.
Yeah, correct. Is right. You know.
You're not a love. You must be a lover, not a hater, right? and give Jack his due. He is a very attractive man, and he is a speaker. But he is not serving the interest of the people of this country
no.
at all. Or at least he's serving some people. Let me put it that way.
So,
but
Karen,
you're not invited. By the way, are you not invited to those parties, huh?
Karen, we're going to go for a quick station identification. Okay. Stick and stay. We have with us no other than Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, who has put her hat in the ring to contest the upcoming PNM internal election. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Come around with more than 1 or 2 votes. We need the kind of change that affordable to the rich man or the man that too broke. T&T. We need a new hope.
If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call T&T, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and pan. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change might just mean a new car, could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we could say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah.
And of course, we want change to start with you, Karen, Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira. You know, I mean, it's always a pleasure. Let me go out here. Let me go. It's always a pleasure, Karen, when, you know, you come into the village and be so transparent and, you know, you show your leadership skills and abilities, you know, every time you come here in the village. And we do appreciate, you know, your frankness. And that's what we kind of need in Trinidad. We need some transparency and, you know, to just change. I mean, I love this song so bad. I think this song was from 2018 where you won, you know, the Calypso Monarch. You know, we need serious change in Trinidad and Tobago, because we just can't continue to go along the same way and expect to get different results.
It's true. That's very true.
You know,
Yep.
and you know, so I mean, I don't know what else to ask of you, Karen, but you have answered so many things tonight succinctly, you know, for many people, you know, knowing that, you know, you are going here into, you know, you have thrown your hat in the political arena, you know, and we know for a fact that you could handle your stories, you know, you could always handle your stories, and you're gonna be fine, you know. But let me play this song for you. Hold on, let me play this one for you. Hold on.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be.
We hope, Karen, that Jesus covers you while you fix it. You know, we know Jesus is going to cover you while you fix it.
Thank you.
That
so much.
was specially dedicated to you, and
Thank you so much.
you know, I don't know what else to say.
I think we have covered all the grounds, from what motivated me, what you think I would try to do, and what you think isn't right. And we want to, all I will say, and I hope this is perhaps this is in closing comments, would be that if I don't look at it as personal, I do not have anything personal against anyone, but I believe in what I say, and I believe I am a good a warrior, ready to do battle in the name of hopefully the interest of the country. And if people choose to make it into something other than what I think it should be, and we keep if we try our best to keep the issues and the discussion and the interest of the country, I think we'll all be the better for it. But I don't expect that will happen, but so be it. That is what they call politics. And when you go into that kitchen, it gets very hot. And if you're not prepared to take the heat, don't step in.
Question.
And I have stepped in.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, Karen, good evening again.
Good
When are we looking at having this election take place? And
I was told of the 10th of October. 10th of October is somehow the date I have gotten that there's going to be an announcement, but I can't say for sure. I don't want to, commit myself to that. But that's one of the reasons why I felt it was important that if that is in fact true, that I should come out and, show my hand, so to speak.
and how can we help immediately to make sure that you win this election?
Well, what you're doing is what needs to be done, because the fact of the matter, you cannot underestimate the power of the media. You cannot. If anyone does that, they make a huge mistake. And so that if you believe that I am the right person and you believe in my sincerity and my commitment to the country, and as you say, my transparency, sometimes I think perhaps I'm more transparent than, but it's my nature. It's my nature. So that's who I am. So of course, how you help is, of course, if we can get the diaspora to make a contribution, because you have to fund a campaign. It does need funding, whether you like it or not. That is part of the of it. And of course, we need the media to give me the opportunity, or to give those who support me the opportunity to have their voices heard. And that is at this point in time is what I would say my immediate response would be.
Okay.
Anybody else? Angela?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
No, I'm actually listening, because I think Karen, what you have done is that you have enhanced what we do here at WZYE 95.9 FM by being on here and actually breaking it publicly, with respect to you running for the political leader of the People's National Movement, so, and it gives our radio station here outside of Trinidad and Tobago, and we are very transparent and accountable. Karen, is like, you have given us more credibility with what we try to do here on WZYE 95.9 FM. And I can say to you that, at any time, you are welcome on WZYE 95.9 FM, and you don't have, if you need to get something out in the public domain, you have my number, just send it, and you could be on WZYE 95.9 FM at any time. And for any one of your competitors, what we have to do, since we are fully licensed FCC radio station, if any of your competitors ask for like time, we have to give them like time as well, because that's just the rules and regulation of the FCC, since we are fully FCC licensed radio station. So, but, I mean, I think tonight was a fantabulous, splendiferous, marvelous, tremendous night.
Yeah.
And, Karen.
I know what we have to say about that. I think it, huh?
Well, no, and Karen, I want to say something else to you. I want to, you know what? I go say that privately. I go say that privately. I ain't go say that. But anyway, I go be transparent. Let me be transparent. I would like you to also come and speak as a virtual, as a guest speaker before my 2 global business classes at Seton Hall University.
Absolutely. Just tell me the topic and
Yeah,
when.
and we'll arrange that. So for all the PNM people who just say I'm not a professor, Karen is going to come speak before my class, so then you all could see that, the little boy from Chumaka Claventil is truly a professor. All right? It's all my PNM people. All right?
Yes.
So don't worry. So Karen, this was a pleasure.
We do that, Anselm. Anselm, I have to say my thanks for, they say ingratitude is worse than witchcraft. Yes. So one of the things I have tried to practice is that gratitude and loyalty, I think, is important. Both of those qualities, which are not for sale. You can't buy that, You can buy a lot of things, but loyalty is not one of those things that one can purchase. So you have to put an enormous price on that. I know it's almost priceless. So I want to say that thank you for giving me the opportunity and the airtime to speak at length on all the different topics of my potential the potential steps or processes or plans that I may have, hopefully to turn around Trinidad and to change the course of Trinidad and Tobago for a better place, which we all, whether we live in Trinidad or we're in the diaspora, we know that we love Trinidad and Tobago, and all we want is the best for it. And by doing this, I hope that I can make that contribution. I thank you. I thank your listeners. I thank your viewers. Thank everybody, Diane. I thank everyone who has given me the support tonight.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome,
Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Tesheira.
Take care, Karen. Thank you.
Okay, take care. See
All
you.
right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
You too. There you have it. Anselm Bossa Mark, boy.
Hold on.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. It's so sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it.
That's all I ask.
Cover. You want more than a cover. You need a roof for that.
You need a whole roof. You need a whole roof. So, folks,
yeah, cover ain't working. You need a roof. Anselm, when you were trying to bring the people in, a message keep flashing on my device that 12 people were on and somebody had to fall off in order for the people to get on. So that's why I left.
Okay.
Allowed into, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say to all the people in the chat, you are what makes us here at WZYE successful, right? You guys have been very loyal to us, and we keep on being loyal. And this is what we're about. We're about bringing in people, from any side of the spectrum. The other day we had Senator Senator Leida in here, and Senator Leida get, almost the same amount of time as Karen. We bring people in. We want people to talk freely. We're not just one side. Yes, folks. I tell all you, I transparent. I tell you, I'm a supporter of the PNM. I tell all of that. I don't hide like them other announcers in Trinidad and Tobago. All you must ask them what party they support. When you're on air, you should be transparent and tell the people, I support party A. That is it. You support the party, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But when you tell them, hey, why you gave me that party for? Be transparent, man. That's all. That's it. And let me say a special. We don't send shout out here. We send a slim out because they'll call me slim out. Have a brethren, Ron Millington. A special slim out to you, my brother. Ron is a brother. A brother, a good brother, a Lavantilian brother, I could say. So, Ron, a special, and welcome to Indie Village, Ron. It's always a pleasure. My partner, Ron Millington. You know? Yeah. We call him RM boy. yeah, Eileen. Answer you in your feelings now. You have a PNM now to support.
Oh.
Eiley. What is that? What is that story there, Eiley?
Yeah, I mean he has a Trin Begonian he's supported.
Yeah. All right, this is Marset Design Plus. Very happy she cleared the hair, cleared the air, and give her account on what took place with Clico. I used to look at she with one eye. And you know, Marset, let me say this, and I've said to people, you know, sometimes, you know, my mother always told me 34 years ago before I get married, a liar has no memory, right? And since I've known Karen, she have been very consistent with her story, right? It's not like some other people, they tell you a story, we're not closing down Petrotrin, right? Right? If you went to your fridge and you get a red solo and you miss it, we're not closing down Petrotrin. And then a few weeks later, you close down Petrotrin, right? Or you tell Robert Amaro, Wendell Motley have nothing to do with the Sandals Committee in Tobago, right? And then a few weeks later, you have to apologize. You see? And it goes on and on and on and on and on. But when you're transparent and you're accountable and you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. You know? So now the PNM people who are going to be upset with Karen, going to start to talk about insider trading and are giving all of the roadmap, are telling all you, I'm telling you guys what they're going to start with. From tomorrow, they're going to start with insider trading. I'm telling all you ahead of time. But I tell them, I will put my 23 years experience on the New York Stock Exchange, dealing with insider trading and market manipulation, and debate any one of them on here on WZYE 95.9 FM for free. Free. Begin them airtime to debate them because they have to stop. They have to stop with that kind of rare tricks. Not rare trick, you know. Rare tricks. You know? But they're trying too much rare tricks. You know, and they think they'll get away with it. But what can I say?
They've done it in the past.
They have done it in the past, Tommy. Yes? Yes?
They said I never knew it was this horrible in Trinidad. Well, you're all terrible though. Jeez,
Yes.
Lord.
It's easy. So Nadia, before you go, Tikisha, before you go, put closing comments in the chat. Judy, before you go, Hailey, put closing comments. Capiza, put closing comments. Victor Philip, if you're still there, Marset, Victor, if you're still there, we normally have a little thing where we people put closing comments in the chat. Rennie, Albert Montano, Judy, I ain't see Lana tonight. Put closing comments in the chat. Yeah, put closing comments in the chat. Yeah. Oh, I ain't see my partner. I ain't see your partner, Eugene Julian. I think his wife took back his phone tonight.
I think he was saying there was a message in there he was trying to call it and something like that. Was it him?
Yeah. I actually called him back. His wife didn't give him back his phone, so he didn't hear it ringing. He couldn't hear it ringing. he couldn't hear it ringing, so they take it back. He couldn't hear it ringing, so they take back. Oh God! But no, facts. I have to tell all you. Okay, Takesha, thank you. You know, I don't know. I'll let you guys. So Tommy, any closing words, Tommy?
Well, I always talk about the power of the word and how you have to be immaculate with your word. But Jonathan Swift says, words are the clothing of our thoughts. And that's so true and so very relevant. I really appreciate being here in the village and enjoy the time we spent together tonight. And pray that everybody stay focused and safe out there. Love you all. Till the next time.
Thank you. So remember, folks, change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. So we must straighten our backs and work for our freedom. A man can't ride you unless your back is bent. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall, so that's all I like to say, but gotta go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, and for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. Anna?
Okay, I just want to say incognito that to the fellow members of the PNM party, are you going to stay the same, or are you going to muster up the courage to change the party for the better? Are you going to stay the same, or are you going to muster up the courage to change the party for the better? Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Tupac Shakur said, I want to grow. I want to be better. You grow, we all grow. We are made to grow. You either evolve or you will disappear. This is Diana Benskin, the Global Ambassador and your resident poet, bidding you all Wiedersehen. Until we meet again, to the red party, listen up.
Thank you, Diana.
Good
So
night.
Takesha says, Diana and someone told me be safe, and at least you guys not racial and give everyone the opportunity in the village. Thank you, Takesha. Diana Capiza says steady course. And Judy says boom shakalaka. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay, Albert Montano says, the truth will set you free, and honesty is the best policy. Knowledge is the strength. Tonight was a lesson in all of it. Thank you, Albert. Hailey says, Diana complimenting Rowdy looks in the hopes that she get the ID card. Diana, what is that one? Oh God!
Oh God, give me a hard ID card, boy.
Hey, I just come good every once in a while. Eh? Only once in a while, he just come good.
But
You know what I mean?
he's not a bad looking fella. He's a nice looking fella.
No, I don't have nothing to do say with that.
And I like my coffee dark, though, you know.
All you go say that, not me. I say no that. Capiza says, great is the PNM. Who break the code, there will be time for court martial. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. I know breaking the code.
It says the PNM need plenty surgery and removal of dead weight.
Who said that?
Albert.
Okay. Nadia says, Ansem, good night. Tommy, Diana, Benskin, blessed night. Takesha says, bless good night, everyone. I really enjoyed the program. God bless each and every single one of us. Full 100.
Ask Nadia if she want a puppy.
Nah, Nadia don't want no puppy. Judy says, thank you, Ansem, Tommy, and Diana. Universal blessings to you guys and your families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Nadia.
Yeah.
Thank you, Takesha.
Ansem, then you shouldn't be vexed how your party through street through or through macaque. Oh, okay. All right.
Let's call you Chumaka. Oh, Lord.
What do you say? Judy says Karen Nunez needs steel blanket from them vultures in the parliament. Oh, God. Marset says, very happy she cleared the air and gave her account on what took place in Clico. I used to look at her with one eye.
Oh, God.
I think they stopped looking at her with one eye now.
Judy said Diana get on board with Karen.
Yeah. Judy says, Karen Nunez, I applaud this interview. Indeed, it was a pleasure, indeed, most enjoyable.
Now I had to find a way to vote. Remember, my birth paper, boy.
Yeah. Victor Phillips said PNM member with party card needs to register. Yeah, that is important. You know, we don't want no shenanigans going on. We want no shenanigans in this election, you know. All you know that. Rennie says, Miss Karen Nunez, you definitely have a head on your shoulder. Yeah, full 100.
Now, I realize some of her supporters are implying that she'll be the first woman to do that, but they should have said the door has already been open on that.
Again, Tony, what?
There's the implication based on some of the discussion that she is the first female to seek prime ministerialship in Trinidad, but that's already been done.
No, that's been done. That's been done.
No, maybe she'll be the first Afro woman, but
yeah.
not
Even in an internal election, Penelope Beckers, I think, went up. Maybe I know she went up once. I don't know if she went up twice, but she went up. Kupiza want to know what Karen doing for them in Caroni.
Oh Lord.
Kupiza is an internal election. She can't do nothing for her in Caroni.
until she wins the prime ministership.
Election. What she could do? She can't do nothing for my people in Chumaka Kida. You know?
Tell Capiza we got like some African bees down there, but we bees is.
Caroni. Look, Capiza. I tell Capiza, you know.
There's some good honey down there.
No, every sentence Capiza type, he type a sentence with 8 words, 9 of them is PNM.
Yeah, PNM Tabanka.
Yeah. Capiza was PNM Tabanka, you should. Yeah,
he does. That way you have to hit him below the belt. He's hit you below the belt, you know.
Yeah, I know. I hear something about what Scotland said. Hey, look, Eugene. Look, I'll tell all of that. Look, Eugene Juan his wife gave back his phone to say good night. What? 10:26 p.m. His wife pass across. Say, look, take that. Go and say good night. And bring it back when you're finished.
Oh yeah.
For me, Eugene.
I bet you can't post a next comment. Wait a bit.
Oh boy.
Before we go, I bet you cannot post a next comment. Watch and you go see. All right? Hey, look. Capiza African killer bees.
What? African killer bees?
Yeah, I don't know about that fella, you know. I don't know about that fella. Anyway, folks, we go out with the anthem song for tonight. So, folks, have a splendiferous, fantabulous, marvelous, tremendous, fantabulous, and splendastic.
You know, some rain coming all your way.
No, we had rain most of the day today, girl.
I think it's coming now. It's probably coming now too.
And I lucky, you know. I went out and run.
Some rain coming all your way, boy.
Yeah. But folks, here we go. We're going to close with this one tonight.
Come around with more than 1 or 2 votes. We need the kind of change that's affordable to the rich man or the man that too broke. T&T. We need a new hope.
If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call T&T, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and pan. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change by just mean a new car could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we can say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's murders, killings galore. So much gunmen fighting needless war. I can't tell you stay, can't tell you go, cause this still the land we used to know. Homeless, every corner you meet, and they complimented by our dirty streets. Then we wonder why in our sister isle, why they don't like Trinis to come and spend time. Well, you see, it's much more than paving a whole road, and it's greater than fixing a lamp pole. Change is about the whole nation and how we are portrayed when the party done. Who set these standards in my TNT? Really wish somebody here could tell me. It's just the same thing again and again, like we leaders don't use the brain. So change the change within our country. Change the change so the whole world could see. Change the change for a better future, so we don't have to depend on our next mayor. Say change the change within the society, otherwise we have a bandit factory. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In our youth, we leave all the weight, cause in most leaders, we done a lost faith. They're full of such greed. Oh, Father, I plead, please, Lord, have some mercy on the seas. Cause the youth are trying their best, but they're born in this place of lies and commerce. So eventually, when things get heavy, chances are they might turn out just like we. But you see, could put an end to all this foolishness and could break this chain link of sadness. Change could help our leaders to grow and start preparing youths for tomorrow. Don't see change as something timely and start seeing change as your duty. To stop them from hurting one day is we had to point the way. So change the change for better transparency. Change the change for better economy. Change the change so no man one day will take we money and just fly away. I say for young Calypsonians and stop saying culture is in good hands. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. For those who don't know how to arrange or what I might mean by change the change, it means restructure what is regular so that we can have a different culture. From Kaiso, they get solutions, but still they treat us like the stupid ones. They neglecting we repeatedly, constantly insulting our country. But if we change, we'll understand to value each other, and change would mean there's a better future. I hope one day our leaders know through culture and media is how people grow. While they're fighting politically, wasting the nation's time and money, they're paying people for advisory, but like my own it is for free. So change the change for the struggling pan man. Change the change for that old Kaisonian. Change it, change for the elderly, so grandma and grandpa could die happy. I said change the change for all opposition, so next time they'll approve legislation. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Come around with more than 1 or 2 votes. We need the kind of change that's affordable to the rich man or the man that too broke. TNT, we need a new hope.
If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call TNT, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and PAN. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change might just mean a new car, could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change, things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we could say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.